accessibility to its services for people across the peninsula. Minister Charlie McConalogue, who supported iCare in their submission, says the group has relied on fundraising until this point.
Like real pressure off iCare. I've no doubt they will still do fundraising, but the situation since their foundation has been that they've existed primarily on fundraising, and there's that pressure there all the time to be able to keep the doors open. What this now means that there's very strong, stable annual funding from the HSE, which relieves that pressure and allows them to build and plan ahead in their development as well.
Looking now to weather, scattered showers and sunny spells this morning. That's all for now from the newsroom. Back with more at 10 o'clock.
There are silent conversations that happen on our roads every day between drivers and older pedestrians like me. When we catch each other's eye to say, "Do you see me?" or "I'm crossing." But when people don't look out for each other, those connections can be missed. And so can I.
Too many older pedestrians are being killed on our roads. When we look out for each other,
we keep each other.
Please look out for older pedestrians. From the Road Safety Authority, visit rsa.ie.
The county's #1 talk show, the 9 till noon show on Highland Radio.
And a very good morning to you. This is the 9 till noon show on Highland Radio on this Thursday morning. It's the 4th of September. It's a very special day. Donal Kavanagh here in studio for the next 3 hours. But of course, you will be getting plenty of Greg on the show today, because Greg, as you'll know from listening to me, is on Aranmore Island. It's the Aranmore leg of the Donegal Camino. Greg, Shannon and the crew there will be walking 16 kilometres as part of the Camino. And we'll be walking with Greg for quite a part of the opening leg of that journey. Greg joining us on regular occasions over the course of the programme. We'll get a flavour of what's happening on Aranmore Island, how the Camino is going, and Greg will be speaking, of course, to some of the personalities and the walkers who are over there. It's going to be a very special show. And of course, as you know, there is an I Donate page where you can donate to Cancer Care West Donegal, which is what, of course, this is all in support of. So if you can indeed go and search Greg Hughes on the I Donate page, and you'll get through to Greg's page and you can make a donation to that particular cause. It's time to look at the papers now, of course, but before we do, don't forget you can, of course, take part in the conversation yourself. We are available right across the communications network. You can text 086 60 25,000. That number good for WhatsApp messages as well. You can call us, of course, 074 91 25,000, 0035374 91 25,000 if you're outside of the dialing area, or email comments at highlandradio.com. We're available on social media. It's Highland Hub on Facebook, at Highland Radio on X, and you can of course watch the show on our Facebook pages and also on our YouTube channel, Highland Radio Ireland. And as I said, we'll be getting in touch on a regular basis with Greg over the course of the programme, and the plan is we will have video with Greg from Aranmore as well. So not only do you get to hear Greg and the guests, you get to see them as well. So you can do that on our Facebook pages or indeed on our YouTube channel. And please do engage with the programme this morning and let us know the issues that you're thinking about today. And we do, of course, have a packed programme with other things to discuss as well. Front page of the Donegal News this morning is "We Need Answers. Sister of Creasla victim says family cannot heal without the truth." Lisa Gallagher, the sister of the late Jessica Gallagher, who died in the Creasla tragedy, opening up on her family's feelings as we approach the anniversary of that tragedy in 2022. Interesting story on the inside of the paper. Insufficient data produced for major Letterkenny development. Transport Infrastructure Ireland has made a submission to a proposed large-scale residential development in Letterkenny. It cites that insufficient data has been produced to show it won't have a detrimental impact on the national road network in the vicinity. It's related to a planning application from PG McDermott for the development of 260 residential units, a large shop and a creche in the Glencar Irish and Glencar Scotch area of Letterkenny. And that's the inside there, as I said, of the Donegal News. Looking at the Tyrconnell Tribune today, a very large tribute to Ollie Horgan, front page Ollie Horgan, footballing legend. Quite a lot of coverage on pages 2 and 3 as well. Also on the front page, the ongoing story of Johnny's Ranch. Tomorrow week, the closure order from Donegal County Council comes into effect. There was, of course, a rally in Gamble Square in Ramelton on last weekend. And the front page of the Tyrconnell Tribune this morning, Johnny's Ranch was there for us in our darkest trauma. A family coping with their own life-changing trauma has expressed support to Johnny and Martina Patterson and wished them well. The story there on the front, as I said, of the Tribune. Also a tribute to Holly Horgan and a picture of school staff members seeking equality. Parents, teachers and students from Skull on Boshta in Carrigart supporting the school secretaries and caretakers pension parity strike that's taking place at the moment. You'll of course heard some of the girls from 6th class in the school and John J. McGettigan, the caretaker, on with Greg yesterday morning. Derry News this morning. Armed forces not welcome at job fair. Councillors voice opposition to British military attending the Derry Jobs Fair in the Foyle Arena. The presence of the armed forces is being opposed. Local councillors made the objections. The job fair due to be held on Tuesday next, September 9th. It's a chance for individuals to chat to employers, learn about vacancies in council areas and enhance their employment prospects through practical advice and support. However, a number of councillors from both Sinn Féin and the SDLP expressing concern at the proposal that the army take a stand there. Inside, vesting required at Mowboy Dump before remediation can begin. It's hazardous. An underground barrier is part of the proposed work for the contaminated site. Catherine McGinty writes a very comprehensive story there. And there was an open day in Eglinton yesterday. Another open day taking place next week in the Millennium Forum. And the thought is this is going to take around about £700 sterling or close to 800 million euro to actually get this resolved. And it's going to take years to complete. A major project in store there for the Mowboy area. Irish Independent, semi-state job to be kept open for Gavin during his Oris run. That's the front page of the Irish Independent. Looking on the inside, a terrible story coming from Portugal, and I visited Lisbon some years ago. I didn't get to go on the funicular in question. I wanted to, but the queue was ridiculously long. So I actually didn't get to go onto this particular funicular, but a funicular in Portugal, in Lisbon, crashed yesterday. At least 15 dead and 18 people injured. It's a terrible story. You can see the wreckage on the front there. The funicular goes up and down this really steep hill in Portugal, and it was one of the major tourist attractions in Lisbon. A terrible story. Nothing found by cadaver dogs at the site of search for boy last seen 4 years ago. That's that ongoing search in Dublin. And another story there regarding the presidential election, and a lot more of those to come in the coming weeks. Shadow Geldof campaign said to be already in motion. A shadow presidential campaign in support of Bob Geldof is believed to be in motion, with an ad hoc organisation being pulled together, backing a bid by Bob Geldof. Now, will he try to go down the route of seeking nominations from local councils? He very well may do. We'll be speaking more about that in just a few moments. Irish Times, Gardaí paid large sum to Israeli spyware company. On Garda Síochána's intelligence section paid substantial sums to that spyware company with a history of doing business with repressive regimes. Cognite Technologies, which is headquartered in Ireland, has had close ties to Israeli security services. It manufactures a range of espionage technology, including data and wiretapping tools. Also a story there on the Irish Times. Republic seeks allies to help block Mercosur trade deal. The Republic will seek to block the Mercosur trade deal by building alliances with other European countries opposed to it. If they can get enough support across the EU, they can do so, because the deal has got to be finalised and given the final go-ahead by the Council of Ministers, which is the heads of state of all the EU countries. And if sufficient numbers of them oppose it, then that can happen. So it remains to be seen what's going to happen with that deal. But certainly it's a very serious issue for local farmers. Their fear is that if the deal isn't blocked, what we're going to see is farmers in this country having to fulfill very strict environmental criteria and very strict environmental quotas, while South American countries such as Uruguay, Brazil, Argentina and Paraguay, which don't have to fulfill those same environmental obligations, being given the chance to export their wares into the EU. And the fear is that if the EU is, as they say, flooded with cheap imports from South America that haven't followed the same environmental standards as Irish beef, but they can be put on the market at a reduced rate, then that could have a very, very serious impact on the Irish agricultural sector. That's one we'll keep watching with interest. Front page of the Irish Sun this morning. How many more Kieran's? Child and Family Agency TUSLA has been ordered to review all closed cases to ensure there are no more missing kids like tragic Kieran Durnan in Ireland. The Children's Minister, Norma Foley, asked for the trawl so she could be assured that no more youngsters fell under the radar. It comes as a dig continues for the body of another boy believed missing in Dublin. The presumption is, after he wasn't seen for 4 years, that the young child is dead. A piece of land in Donabate is, as we know, being dug up at the moment as part of the search for that young boy. TUSLA did confirm yesterday that they had engagements with the boy, but that was some 3 years ago. So, or 3 or 4 years ago, I can't recall exactly which. I think it may have been 4 actually. So they did have contact with the boy and his family. They haven't had contact since. The question now is, are there more cases of that nature? Irish Daily Mirror this morning, interesting headline, a picture of Conor McGregor and the headline, talking out of his arse. And none of Ireland's 31 councils have issued a nomination for presidential hopeful Conor McGregor, despite him claiming he had their support. Now, I can give you some insight into this because I was in contact with Donegal County Council about 10 days ago. I made contact with the council's press and information section, and I basically asked, have you any nominations or any proposals in for a special meeting for people seeking nominations to Áras an Uachtaráin? Because certainly Peter Casey, if he does decide to go forward, Peter Casey, Donegal will be one of his first ports of call, obviously, to seek a nomination. So I contacted Donegal County Council and I just asked, have you any proposals in? What the council told me was, we actually have 6 people have expressed an interest in securing a nomination from Donegal County Council. That number may have risen, but as of about 10 days ago or thereabouts, when I asked the council, 6 people had expressed an interest in securing a presidential nomination from Donegal County Council. But what the council told me was, until the order to have a presidential election is made, we cannot have a meeting because as of yet there is no presidential election for which people can be nominated. Now, yesterday, Minister James Brown moved that order just before 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon. James Brown published the notice that he had made the order. So we know the order is there. The closing date for nominations is September 24th. So as of yesterday, nominations are being invited and the election will take place on October 24th. So just under 3 weeks' time, close of nominations. So now the councils can have those meetings. The councils couldn't really have those meetings to make nominations. They could have had informal meetings, but no council could call a meeting to discuss a presidential election because technically, until yesterday, just before lunchtime, there was no presidential election to talk about. Now there is. The order has been signed. So it would have been impossible for Conor McGregor to secure support from county councils because they couldn't have the meeting to make a formal nomination. That's going to happen very shortly, and we can expect Donegal County Council to have those discussions in the coming days. And as soon as we have more details, obviously, on that, we'll bring them to you. The Irish Daily Star. Did you manage to get a ticket for the electric picnic? And someone said, why are you asking that? Sure, it's already over. But I'm not talking about the one that's already over. Yesterday, tickets went on sale for Electric Picnic 2026, and they sold out in an hour and a half. So Pick of the Bunch is the headline, and festival sells out 80,000 tickets in less than 2 hours. Electric Picnic 2026 already sold out. Now, there will be more tickets going onto the market, and there will be other opportunities, I suspect, to get tickets over the course of the next coming months. But, technically speaking, Electric Picnic 2026 is sold out already. We don't have a clue who's going to be playing at it. Now, in a very, very interesting move, in the same sort of story, a little sidebar, he's heading this way for another concert. Ed Sheeran is making a surprise return to the capital this year. Ed Sheeran will play the 3 Arena stage on December 9th as part of his European tour. I can't help wondering how many people are going to be looking at this story that secured an Electric Picnic ticket yesterday, see the Pick of the Bunch headline, including a picture of Dermot Kennedy singing with the Cranberries, which was a really, I wasn't there, but I've seen the clips. It was really interesting to see Dermot Kennedy singing the Cranberries songs with the Hogans and the surviving band members. You see that the headline, Electric Picnic sold out, then you see a picture over on the side of Ed Sheeran. Some people are going to put 2 and 2 together and get 5, I'm afraid, as far as this one is concerned. And finally, it's a Thursday, which means it's a farming day on Highland Radio. The Irish Farmers Journal. Weanling prices surged despite Mercosur risk. A story there that weanling prices surged past €7 a kilogram this week, with one farmer in Elphin taking home a cheque of almost €80,000 for 33 weanlings. Top quality springborn weanlings are making north of €7 a kilogram. Now, I suspect that won't be the price across the board, and I'd say there's very, very few farmers in Donegal, I suspect, taking home €80,000 from the mart. But that's perhaps a positive story, and the Mercosur issue is going to become more and more discussed in the coming days. Then inside of the Journal, Mercosur trade deal moves a step closer and farm organisations slam Mercosur deal. And speaking of farming and farm organisations and the interests of farmers, don't forget, by the way, farming news and views on the station this evening. Chris Ashmore bringing you news and information and perspectives from the local farming sector. That's on at around about 5:20 this evening. So you can get your fix of farming news here on Highland Radio at that time as well. Don't forget, you can call us 07491 25,000, text us or WhatsApp us 086 60 25,000. It's the 9 till noon show on Highland Radio. Back after these.
It's Greg Hughes here, inviting you to join us live on Highland Radio this Sunday for a special broadcast live from the London Irish Vintage Club Show in Greenford, London. I'll be talking to a number of guests, including the event organisers, representatives from the Clayton Hotel City of London, incoming Donegal London Person of the Year, Safe Home Ireland, the London Irish County Associations and Donegal County Council. So tune in this Sunday from 12 noon until 2 p.m. with me, Greg, live from the London Irish Vintage Club Show, London.
Attention students, TFI Local Link bus services available nationwide can connect you to a wide range of colleges all year round. Save up to 50% on cash fares when you use your TFI Young Adult or Student Leap Card. For route and timetable information, visit transportforireland.ie. We're Transport for Ireland. We're Transport for you.
September has arrived and your local Maple store has everything you need for a fresh new season. From tasty lunchbox fillers to warm autumn treats and all your everyday essentials. Maple has everything you need under one roof. Quick, easy and always local. Call into Maple Milford, Maple Express Carrygard, Falcarra Castlefin or your nearest Maple store. Keeping it fresh, local and convenient. Don't forget to follow your local Maple store on Facebook for exclusive monthly offers and updates.
Attention all contractors and defective home contractors. National Fuels Letterkenny is now supplying Semcor cement. From a single bag for the DIY enthusiast to full pallet loads for contractors, all at very competitive prices. Call 074 91 37 400. National Fuels Letterkenny. Also available in our Churchill and Dunlow depots.
Here at Braden's House to Home Interiors, Bridgend and Maville, we're having a huge September sale. We have extended our Bridgend shop so that now we can't be beaten on choice as well as price, as we slash prices throughout all departments, such as recliner and fabric suites, dining tables and chairs, beds and mattresses, curtains and rugs. And don't forget our large flooring department stocking carpet, vinyl and laminate flooring. We give a weekly service to Donegal, Derry and Strabane, not to be matched. So call in today to Braden's House to Home Interiors, Bridgend and Maville for all your home furnishing needs.
Highland Radio Time Checks brought to you by EirGrid, the operator and developer of Ireland's electricity grid. EirGrid, powering up communities, powering up Ireland. The time is...
It's 9:20 on Highland Radio. Very good morning to you if you're just joining us. As we have said before, it is a very, very special day on Highland Radio. It's the Camino. Donegal Camino is taking place. It's day 5 and the loop we're on today is the loop on Aranmore Island, and we're going to go to Aranmore and for the first time this morning say a very good morning to Greg Hughes. Greg, how are you?
Donal, I am fantastic. We have been blessed with the weather today. It is absolutely stunning here on Aranmore Island. We're kind of, jumping on the coattails of these amazing people who've been doing this now for a number of days. We are joined now by Noel Cunningham, who is I suppose it's just the number one. But,
Hello there, and my goodness, how exciting is this? The welcome on Aranmore is always second to none, and there's such a lovely atmosphere, a lovely buzz. It would be kind of impossible to describe to the listeners the magic of this morning. We're looking out over the water. There's a boat being built right ahead of us. The sun is shining, the sky is blue, and there's a lovely chatter and laughter and fun. It's just incredible.
I'm not sure that boat is being built, because that boat was in an awful lot better condition when I saw it about 5 or 6 years ago. I think it might be going the other way, Noel, in fairness.
Well, I'm going to see if we get it over to Burton Port, so that I'm going to stick it on the back of my car and take it home. But no, Greg, first of all, to Highland Radio, to all of you, it is so good that you join us, because it's very important that people know that we're doing something very special for a very special centre in Letterkenny, the Cancer Care West Cancer Centre.
In relation to that, Noel, if you don't mind, and we are only here to support the likes of yourself. That's the only reason we're here. It's not for us. But I've been trying to articulate the importance of Cancer Care West Donegal and that beautiful facility in Letterkenny and the wonderful people that work there. And I'm not sure I've done it justice. You know it inside now. You're the patron. Talk to me about that building, the people and the importance of it.
Well, I can put it very succinctly. I went down to Galway. I sit on the board of Cancer Care West. I saw in the guest house that every single person who was in that guest house were from Donegal. And the thing that was missing, when they were in the guest house, when they were down there for 5 days of treatment, they could go round the corner to this incredible service. There was psychology, there was physiotherapy. If you only wanted to read a book, have a glass of wine, meet for a chat, speak to professionals. And I got speaking to some of the fellow directors, and I thought, we need a centre like that in Donegal. Those people, and that day there were about 35 people, they were coming back to Donegal and there was nothing. So that's the significance. People can drop in for support, for help, for physio. It's just, and I extend a real invitation to anybody who's listening who would like to see what's done at the centre. Feel free to call. We would love you to come in, look around, see what we do. And as I say, this Camino has now become pretty much the main fundraiser for keeping that centre open.
And it's astonishing, and I think it's wonderful that Donegal County Council recognised it and stuck it on the calendar, because I want to talk to you. We might do it later, but every time you've mentioned Sunday, it's kind of been at the end of the interview, so I want to give a big push to our wonderful family all around the world to get involved in the Camino wherever they are. I will do so. I will talk to you about that in a moment. But I want to also emphasise the importance of people who need the support to go into Letterkenny. I've spoken to people and heard testimonies from people who've got a cancer diagnosis and they become the counsellor for everybody else. They've just been told this news that they have to go on this journey, and then they have to counsel everybody else. But they were able to bring their family into the facility and make sense of this news that's going to impact everyone. Like, it's so multifaceted, the support that's done.
Absolutely, and John and his team there, they don't just, as you say, deal with people who are on the journey. They involve family, they involve friends. There are gatherings for people who are the partners of people on that journey. And that's immensely helpful and so exciting, because sometimes, you know, when cancer visits a home, it affects everyone. So just to have a facility there where family, partners, children can become part of that wonderful, therapeutic and extraordinary place, it just makes it extra special. And it's a very valid point you make. It's not just about the person on the journey, it's the support group that they need outside of the centre, and they're very much involved.
And there's another cohort of people, and there's a million cohorts, but those that have successfully went through their treatment, and everyone around them is, you've got the all clear, it's all over and fantastic. But there are a number of people then who worry about cancer coming back, bounce back cancer, or they don't really necessarily feel the positivity that's around them. And it's after their treatment that they can go back in and talk that through and make sense of it, make sense of the impossible almost for certain people.
Well, that is a very valid point. It's just that, you know, when cancer enters our lives, ourselves or family, it's very scary, and it's ever present, and those fears are ever present. And that's, you know, on kind of a slightly different note, there's a family walking with us today, the Friel family, and they had somebody very special who availed of our services, and Breda sadly is no longer with us, but what she did by just being sort of loud and speaking and doing all the things on that journey that helped others. Now her family are carrying on that tradition, and that makes the Camino as well that little bit extra special.
And it also means that while she may not be physically with us, she's still here.
There is no doubt. We arrived in Burtonport, the first thing we saw was a rainbow and a white butterfly, and Breda is most certainly walking with her. And we did a programme, a show with you on Highland, and Breda and myself. I will never forget it, and it's very poignant, and I honestly sense her presence around us very much, as I do through other people here, the presence of many who have been touched by cancer, and maybe, just maybe, on this walk it's the first time they felt free and comfortable enough to even mention the C word and to talk about it as part of what I call a very therapeutic group walking.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people here for lots of different reasons, and some are very expressive about why they're here or why it's important to them. Others not so much. It doesn't matter because it's so subjective. We are actually doing all of this to raise awareness, I think, of the fantastic facilities that are in Letterkenny, Cancer Care West, Donegal. It's thanks to this and these people here that those services exist and the staff are supported in what they do. It's a lovely space. It's not clinical. It's not like going into a doctor's waiting room, Noel. It's a home from home, and it's been designed in that way. You can go in and sit and have a cup of coffee. You don't necessarily have to say anything straight off, but that's why that facility is there. And these guys do this. We drop in and out, right? But these guys do this every single year, and they're raising funds for Cancer Care West Donegal to keep that office open, of course, and support the great staff there. If you can donate through our own page here, idonate.ie/fundraiser/Greg Hughes 1. We've got the links on my social media and Highland social media. But it doesn't matter how your money finds its way to the Donegal Camino, because every shilling that they raise, every pound, euro, cent, whatever it might be, goes straight to support Cancer Care West Donegal. And I just want to focus on that for a little bit because, Noel, the amount of money that has been raised through your efforts, but actually, you know, fundamentally what it comes down to the generosity of the public. It's huge, the amount of money that this event raises. I sometimes struggle to get my head around the figures.
Irish people are so kind, so generous. Donegal people up here in the northwest, I say people here have that extra little bit of generosity about them. Without the people, without the walkers, without their friends, without their family, we would be in no position to keep that centre going and raising the amount of money that we do. And I will use this opportunity, since you highlighted it, to publicly say to those walkers and those support people who are with those walkers, a huge thank you. And thank you for sort of coughing up when they've asked for sponsorship. Thank you for joining Greg on this journey as well by donating. And there are no words. It's impossible to say how important those donations are, and we are so grateful.
And I'm going to talk a little bit later on, because I think it's important to do so, about the invisibles, those that stump up the cash, and we've got some amazing people that do that. You know, often they're wealthy, often they're not necessarily from here, but they stump up cash for different events and different fundraisers and what have you, and they don't look for any credit for it at all. It's just to give something back.
Yeah, and we are, you know, obliged to mention them because, I mean, I pitched up at a well-known company because I happened to be in Donegal on Tuesday or Monday, and they gave me a cheque for €500. You know, and those kind of people are invaluable. And that was me just strolling in, you know, to a garage on the outskirts of Donegal town. To Brown's Cars and say, this is what we're doing. That's why I'm wearing this T-shirt. Any chance of some help? So that help that we get from major sponsors. And remember, those same people are being contacted on a daily basis, not just by the Cancer Centre in Letterkenny or the Donegal Camino, but by every other charity as well, because they have the wherewithal and people have no qualms about going to them and saying, I need sponsorship. So credit, thanks and fair dues to them.
Thank you, Noel. I'm going to speak to you before the end of the day. That is Noel Cunningham. He's the patron of Cancer Care West Donegal. He and everyone involved in this event have raised so much awareness and so much money. There's lots of people here. Come with me, Shannon. Deputy Charles Ward. I'm still struggling to get my head around calling you Deputy Charles Ward. I don't know what the hell's going on.
It's hard to take in sometimes, but yeah, that's it. That's the title.
I was listening back to a little package about the election, and it was such a journey, even on that one day. But anyway, we'll not go through all that again. Right, we're in your hometown now.
Yeah, we are. Aranmore Island. This is Libgara. This is where my wife is from. I'm from Affert, which is the scenic end of it. And yeah, so this is my hometown. This is where I went to school here. I lived here for 9 years, first 9 years of my life, and then went to Scotland for 10 years and developed a Scottish accent. So that's where we're at.
I did 3 years in London, and I'll be forever English. That's it.
Yeah. When you're in Ireland, you're Scottish. When you're in Scotland, you're Irish. So that's the way it is.
But even in Dublin, when you're in Dublin, you're Donegal. They know you're from Donegal. But when you're up here, they think, well, where the hell are you from? Is it a tough place to leave an island life?
It's in your heart, so it never leaves you. So no matter where you are, you hear Aranmore, you're always there. So as for example, my son was meant to come with me today because he's going to college. I thought this is a good thing for the two of us to do together. But typical teenager couldn't get out of his bed. There's nothing better than island life. If you come here and you spend a year here, it'll change the way you look at your life forever. It's a simple life, it's a good life, and everybody pulls together. And everybody helps each other, and that's the way it's always been. The population's down on what it was, but it's still there. When I went to school over in Affert, we had 84 children. There was 113 in the school over here. Now that's a lot lower than it is, but people are coming back all the time.
I was going to say, why do you think there would be a depopulation here? Because it's incredibly accessible. I mean, you have the best of both worlds, right? You have, you're living on an island, but you have everything that you have on the mainland, in inverted commas, and I mean, obviously it's weather dependent, and we came over in beautiful seas last night, right? But you also have, for the most part, good access to the mainland. I would have no problem living here.
Yeah, we see, the thing is, Greg, it's real simple. We were brought up to know that sometimes you can't get out, and sometimes the weather will turn, and it's not that you're stuck, but you make provisions and you plan. But anybody that's come here with their families and relocated into Aranmore, they've integrated in fantastically well. But it's just that what we have is here where we would like to have more people come into the island. We don't have the housing on the island to facilitate them. So it's a fantastic place. Everybody that always talks about Aranmore, a stranger, has a smile on their face, and that's fact. You know what I mean? So when I'm up in Dálairn, the amount of TDs who have come through their journey in life to going into politics, they've come into this island. You know what I mean? And we've had some famous people too. I remember I met Fergal Sharkey of the Undertones. He was a student in here, and he told me before, and I was like, that's amazing.
Yeah. And you're here supporting the Donegal Camino as well, and supporting Cancer Care West Letterkenny. It's an easy ask, isn't it, to get behind this amazing event and that amazing charity, given the work that it's doing. And I'm not just saying that. That's not just hyperbole or throwing words out there. I've got to sort of know the people. I've spoken to Noel extensively. I know how important it is. I know the difference it makes to people off the record on the QT. And this event, a massive fundraiser for it, and it's great to be a part of it, isn't it?
It is. It's like this. Cancer affects everybody. There's no family that cancer hasn't affected, and the fact is that we're up here today, and a fantastic turnout, and the sun is shining. I've looked. We're going to have a fantastic walk today. You're going to see some of the best scenery in the whole of Ireland, not just Donegal, the whole of Ireland. So I hope you enjoy it, and next year it will grow. It'll keep on growing. I just can't believe what a fantastic turnout today.
All right then, so seeing as you're so confident, I have a wet jacket thanks to Watson's. Do I leave it in the car or take it with me?
Greg, if you put that wet jacket on, it's going to become a sauna suit.
That's on the record?
That's on the record. See this here? Don't follow this. follow the blue skies above us.
Right,
That's
okay.
what's
Well,
happening.
all right. Well, listen, we won't hold it against you.
Okay.
All right. Listen, Donal, we're going to hand it back to you. We've got so many different people to talk to over the course of... Mr. Daniel O'Donnell is here, by the way. 1 second. I'm going to have to... Daniel, excuse me, please. He's meeting his people.
Hello.
Mr. Daniel O'Donnell has
Morning.
turned up here.
Are you on the video too?
We do everything here. We're
No
multimedia.
expense spared.
No expense spent. Come here, Daniel. Lovely to see you. Why have you decided to get involved in this event?
Well, I mean, I suppose it goes without saying, you know, anything to do with raising awareness and money for cancer is very, very much needed. Unfortunately, there's very few families or houses that hasn't been affected by it. So it's a great gathering of people, and you know, just to be able to be a part of it is a pleasure and an honour.
And it's this kind of juxtaposition in that, you know, there's a sense of camaraderie and happiness and
Great
everything, but it's
atmosphere here.
about I just like when we talk about really serious stuff, but maybe try and do it with the smile on our faces.
Well, I think that's what it's about. I mean, even going back to Relay for Life, I mean, Relay for Life is a real happy day. Even though there's lots of people there on that day, this is a different thing. I suppose people would need to be at the full of their health to be here. But Relay for Life, you can be there even going through treatment. And, you know, even though people are on the cancer journey that are standing there in front of you, there's still an air of positivity and hope. And I think that's what you need to realise, that in all these things, the reason we're here, there will be people that will benefit and people that will survive. You know, I know there's many people, sadly, that their journey ends not the way that we want it to end. But there's a lot of people, because of things like this, that, you know, they recover and live very full lives. And that's why this is so important. And days like this are so important.
16 kilometres, the Aranmore Loop. We're in for a beautiful walk. Is this well within your capability? I'm worried. I'm worried for myself.
I'm just glad you're not here to talk at the end of it.
Daniel, thank you so very much.
Thanks very much. It's a pleasure, and thanks for being here.
And that is the kind of support this event is getting, of course. And there's people who you might know, and then there's others that you might not know, but they're all here for the same reason, the great leveller, which is cancer. 1 in 2 of us will be affected by it. I think there's 1 degree of separation, really, if the truth be told. But you can support the work of Cancer Care West Donegal by donating, if you can, please, like so many people here are doing. You can go to idonate.ie/fundraiser/Greg Hughes 1. Give us a call at the radio station 07491 25,000 and we can process your donation over the telephone, thanks to our wonderful colleagues at Highland. Or if you're a cash person, don't forget you can call into the Mountaintop Letterkenny and we'll give you a receipt for your cash and we'll lodge it straight away into the online donation system. Every single penny goes to support this fantastic facility that either we know about and we've used or possibly might have to use into the future. And I just want to reiterate what Noel Cunningham said there as well. No one needs to be a hero and be the brave face or whatever it might be. If you need some help, some counselling, some support, just a cup of tea with someone that's outside your family circle or your friend circle, where you don't constantly have to be brave and to be the hero, call in. They're on the Pierce Road. It's just to the left of Sister Sarah's as you face on. It's upstairs, but there's a wonderful lift up to it. And go along and get the support that you may well need. But one way or other, please, if you can, donate. idonate.ie/fundraiser/Greg Hughes 1 and give us a call on 07491 25,000 if you have a few bob to spare. And don't feel bad if you don't, it's okay too. But for those of that you have, we'd really, really appreciate it. So we've got loads more guests. We haven't exhausted the pool yet. We're going to be heading off, walking now in the next 20-25 minutes. So we'll hook in, Donal, if it's okay with you, into the second hour.
Of course.
And we'll chat to more people and get a sense of the atmosphere. I think you can hear the buzz, can you, Donal?
It's quite obvious, Craig. I mean, you can hear, certainly the buzz there seems to be great, and it's wonderful to see so many people there. And fair play to the weather and fair play to Charles. His conversations with the weather gods obviously helped.
Well, I'm not sure if I have a natural built-in cynicism when a commitment is given by a politician, Donal, but I'm still taking my wet.
I was going to say, Greg, if I were you, I would still have the bag on the shoulder, but keep it on the shoulder. Hopefully it'll stay there.
All right. Well, do you know the funny thing is and the reason why I'm not trying to play up the 16 kilometres, right? Because it's nothing, right? What do you do pretty much most mornings? How many kilometres would you bang out?
I've actually scaled back a bit. I do about 5 or 6.
5. But you were doing more than that.
I would have been doing closer to 10, but I've scaled back a bit because I'm getting a bit older and the joints are getting a bit creakier.
Isn't it terrible how our knees and hips go? I don't know what the hell's going on.
Well, I have 10 years on you, don't forget now, Greg. So.
Well, true, but I think I can bang out 16 kilometres today.
Of course you can. No problem.
All right. Donal, listen, thank you so much for bringing us in. And we look forward to chatting to you in the next hour. We'll have loads more guests and try and give you a sense of this wonderful atmosphere surrounding such a serious subject. But listen, that's the way we have to live our life, isn't it? Okay, thanks, Donal.
Okay, Greg, you take care. That's Greg on Aranmore Island there. Greg will be rejoining us again as the morning goes on. But for now, we're going to take a very short break.
Watch the show live now on YouTube, Facebook and at highlandradio.com.
At Foy's in Ballybuffet and Letterkenny, we're much more than a furniture store. We're your style destination. From elegant sofas to eye-catching lighting, luxurious beds to statement wall art, we offer the largest range of quality furniture and home decor in the Northwest. Every piece is selected for quality, comfort and timeless design. Check out our socials for exclusive offers and inspiration. Foy's, where great interiors begin.
All around Ireland, ordinary people are doing amazing things every single day with Return. They're turning empty bottles and cans into everything from vaccines to volunteer rescue boats. Like Buncrana Hearts Football Club, who are raising money through Return for sports equipment. Now, thanks to empty bottles and cans, their pitch is full. Join the thousands of initiatives using Return for Good at return.ie.
This week only, get a free upgrade to Loganair's Fly Flex fare. Enjoy a larger 23 kilo hold luggage allowance, increased change flexibility, and collect more Avios, all at no extra cost. T's and C's and exclusions apply. Book by 9th July, travel from 1st August. Booking changes may incur additional fees. Book today at loganair.co.uk.
Hello, Jedward speaking. Sorry, Edward speaking.
Hey bro, I'm glad you picked up.
Who is this?
It's me, John. I'm literally outside in the landing.
I don't know any Sean. Lose my number. Hello?
Edward, don't hang up. I'm sorry for saying a handyman could fix the gas boiler. Please forgive.
Always use a registered gas installer, or you could risk everything. Find one at rgi.ie.
Us Irish like to think we know when something sounds too good to be true, like getting a quick and easy car insurance quote.
Ah, come off it.
Plus great value cover.
You're joking.
From a trusted provider.
Pull the other leg.
And most of the time, we're right. But not this time. See for yourself at onpostinsurance.ie. Acceptance criteria, terms and conditions apply. One Direct Ireland Limited trading as An Post Insurance is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland. One Direct Ireland Limited is a wholly owned subsidiary of An Post. Best price online.
Have you entered Highland Radio's mega summer cash draw yet? We're counting down to the big one. It's the last week. Your last chance to win big this summer with Highland Radio. Buy a ticket today because you'll have 2 chances to win.
This Friday on the Naughty Alarm Clock, Lee will give one lucky listener €2,500. But that's not all. Around 11:30 on the 9 till noon show, Greg Hughes will make that life-changing call. One lucky person is about to be €10,000 richer.
To buy your ticket, go to highlandradio.com. Click the draw link and answer one simple question. Hurry, time is running out. Be a mega summer cash winner with Highland Radio.
The hilarious play 3 Hail Marys this Friday and Saturday night on Grainon Theatre, Letterkenny. Book now on grainon.com or 07491 20777.
McCullough Jewellers in Letterkenny are synonymous with fine jewellery, quality watches and giftware. With stores at Main Street, Letterkenny and the Letterkenny Shopping Centre or online at ormccullough.com. You can choose from their quality product range in a relaxed atmosphere, and their sales staff will be happy to help you make the right choice whatever the occasion. McCullough Jewellers, making moments magical for generations.
Buying or moving home can be a strange mixture of excitement and stress. So the last thing you need is worrying about conveyancing. Time to call McElhenney & Associates. They'll move that property transaction along swiftly, make sure everything's in order, and prevent any nasty surprises. Residential, commercial, leasing or voluntary transfer, call today on 074 917 5989 or find us online. We'll do the paperwork, you do the wallpaper. McElhenney and Associates Solicitors, Stranorlar. How can we help?
You catch them in the corner of your eye, refusing to blend in. An electrifying presence you can't forget. The new Cooper Performance plug-in hybrid range is designed to move you further. With up to 130 kilometers of electric autonomy, you can set your course without compromise. Search Cooper plug-in hybrid today. All-electric range based on WLTP test data. Real-world driving results may vary.
Your local dealer is DMG Motors, Clara Road, Donegal Town. Telephone 074 9721 or visit dmgmotors.ie.
Highland Radio weather updates brought to you by McElhenney's. With new season styles arriving daily, discover the latest fashion, footwear and accessories for autumn in store or shop online at mcelhenneys.com today.
And Met Éireann tell us it'll be a dry start with sunny spells over the eastern part of the region. Scattered showers the further west you go. The showers will spread throughout the day with the odd heavy shower possible. Drier conditions then following from the west by evening. Top temperatures 15 to 17 degrees Celsius in light to moderate westerly winds. That's your weather forecast for the moment. Now, school absenteeism is a major issue and there are a number of reasons put forward for it. Now, TUSLA has put forward figures which show worrying elements and levels of school absenteeism, particularly since the COVID pandemic. And a lot of attention is now focusing on clean air in schools and if the air quality in our schools is actually having an impact on absenteeism through illness. Now, to tease us through that particular issue, we're joined on Zoom by Dr. Ciara Steele, who's a GP and a member of Clean Air Advocacy Ireland. Ciara, very good morning to you.
Good morning, Donal. How are you?
Very well indeed, thank you. Ciara, this is an interesting one because school absenteeism, there are a number of reasons for it, but your concern and the concern of those involved in Clean Air Advocacy Ireland is that since COVID, we haven't yet really got to grips with proper ventilation and proper air quality within our school buildings.
Yeah, look, I think everybody is trying their best, and there's a lot of directives from the Department of Education, but I think there's an implementation gap there. There's a lot of, at the start, there's a lot of CO2 monitors in the classrooms. But teachers are challenged in a classroom situation, and it's very difficult for them to manage everything all together in one go. Like smarter air controlled ventilation systems would probably be the ideal. But the CO2 monitors are cheap and they're easy to use, and they're a really good reflection of the air quality in classrooms and should be utilised in a traffic light system where the CO2 levels should be below 800. And we do have guidance in Ireland on that from the Health and Safety Authority. So we have a lot of guidance, we have a lot of recommendations. But I think where we're falling short is the funding to sustain implementations of these guidance in order to have sustained improved air quality within schools. So there's a lot of factors for it. We know that TUSLA's own research has shown that 60% of school absences is due to illness, nothing else. So, we know that illness is a massive factor in school absences. So correcting the source of school absences due to illness by cleaning the air only makes sense.
There was a lot of talk about this over the course of COVID. It certainly seems now that COVID is some sort of distant memory that was in the past. It's something that happened during the course of the pandemic. There was times you thought we'll never get back to what we used to call normal. Now it's almost at times we'll go days and weeks without even thinking about the fact that COVID ever happened. Have we lost an opportunity here to look at issues like clean air, look at issues like what causes respiratory illnesses, what contributes to the movement of infections and so on, and really failed to tackle them when we had the focus?
Yeah, well, I think probably COVID is an unusual beast. It's not gone away. I think probably people at the moment are noticing that there's an increase at the moment again. So it's not seasonal. It comes in summer. So that the opportunity to clean air all year round is a learning point that maybe we are only picking up on lately, but could have avoided a lot of hurt and harm maybe earlier on in the pandemic as well. We know early on in the pandemic that a lot of viral illness, respiratory illness is airborne. Scientists are learning that other, bioaerosols can contribute to infection as well, like fungi, mold, bacteria. And so we're learning more about aerosol dynamics. Like I myself didn't really know what an aerosol was before 2020, but my interest is sparked from the fact that, I have children who have asthma who are more vulnerable. My own mother has a rare respiratory condition that she's more vulnerable. So, I know that it has a health impact, on a personal level as well as a general level as well. So the learnings, really would be to clean the air with mechanical ventilation, natural ventilation, which is just opening windows, maybe even on a scheduled basis, and providing filtration with portable air filters or mechanical ventilation as well. But what our advocacy in our group is really to say, look, we don't want this to be something that you don't think you can manage yourself. There are things that you can do to assess the air quality in your school. You can ask your school board, you can ask your teachers, what is the air quality in your school? I think there's a problem with transparency. I know in Latvia, there's live streamed CO2 monitors in all the classrooms so that everybody is aware of the air quality in those schools. And that's something that we've petitioned the minister to introduce. But, but there are things that you can do. You can ask your school what the air quality schedule is like. And I know teachers are under pressure with the strike at the moment. There's a lot going on. On the news last night, the bins were collecting, and that's a health hazard. But clean air is a health hazard, that is persistent, and we have learnt a lot. But it's implementing what we've learned that can help protect us now and in the future.
We're also joined on Zoom by Sarah Wetherill, who is a parent member of the Clean Air Advocacy Group. Sarah, good morning to you.
Morning, Donal. Thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure. You're looking at this from the point of view of a parent. You have children in school. You have skin in the game, literally. From that point of view, you want to see action taken on this to ensure your children's health and the health of their peers and their friends.
Absolutely. And, it's taking action for children in school today, but children going into school in the future. And I think, look, we've known for a long, long time that poor air quality in schools has a serious detriment on children's health. I mean, as far as the 1800s, Florence Nightingale was talking about the state of air in children's schools, and they were the source of epidemics. And so it's something we've known for a long time, but I think it's been on the back burner, and COVID really brought it to the forefront. The benefits are unquestionable: higher test scores, fewer sick days, fewer respiratory issues, safer learning environment, better concentration. We've all gone through that 3 p.m. slump in an office, that headache that won't go away, that lack of concentration, and it's no different for kids in school. So cleaning the air is one way to create a healthier learning environment for all kids. And I personally don't think that there should be a trade-off between education and health, and why can't we have both?
The issue that Ciara raised there, an interesting one, that in Latvia, for instance, CO2 measurements are actually live streamed from schools. Would you like to see audited, regular measurement of air quality in our schools, and a regulation put in place that says they have to monitor the air and they have to inform parents of what the readings are?
Absolutely. And to go even further, to have a plan in place as to how schools respond when those air quality levels do get dangerous. Ciara's mentioned a few of the really simple things that can be done, and opening the windows and making sure the kids get outside so that the rooms can be aired out, and having that clear CO2 plan as to what does happen within a school when levels go high, the HEPA filters. Other things such as monitoring outdoor pollution, and there's a real crossover here with work that schools are already doing around the green schools campuses, tackling things like idling outside, ensuring green space around school buildings. So there's a whole load of stuff that can be done, and the work really has been done for schools. For example, just next week, there's a Safe Air webinar, and it's specifically aimed at schools, giving really simple tips and tricks as to how they can, ensure this cleanliness. So really the work is there, and it's like Ciara said, it's how do we ensure it's implemented, and how do we have an oversight over what schools are doing. And we do know teachers are stressed. We know that their workload is huge, but But I think what we want to spell out, this isn't just for students either, it's also for teachers, because they're outside of health care providers, their disability and absentee rates for sickness are one of the highest. So it's a benefit to all staff within a school.
And I'd just like to say as well that the Department of Health, do understand the power of clean air in schools. Like, all new buildings will have mechanical heat recovery ventilation. There's a pilot study, in the Kildare catchment area of 12 schools that are going to be retrofitted. But what we're saying is that we would like that to be expanded. Why wait for all the other schools in the country? Why not just roll that out now to retrofit the other schools as well? There's also, globally, there's sort of like a higher appreciation of healthy indoor air. We're involved in a Healthy Indoor Air Global Call to Action that's taking place beside the UN. We're actually invited to that in New York, coming up towards the end of September. And also we're involved in the Peace Air Peace Plus project, which is funded project by the SEUPB, which is a funded project which would also be looking at school quality outside school environments, as well as introducing sensors into residential areas as well. So we're really in an expanding and developing area that is really catching the attention of the political world as it impacts health. And as it impacts health, it obviously impacts our quality of life, and it also has economic impacts as well. And what I would say is that the financial burden of introducing retrofit ventilation or HEPA filters, really has an economic gain by increasing cognitive function in the school setting. Their studies show that learning is enhanced, test scores are enhanced in maths and English. One school that had HEPA filters introduced because there was a gas leak nearby noticed that all of their students tested better on their scores for that month. So there's plenty of scientific research and evidence, and the Peace Air Project is a scientific research project developing clean air both outside and indoor air as well. So it's very exciting to have all of that work recognised.
Important then that both ministers, Jennifer Carl McNeil and Helen McEntee, get together, health and education, cooperate and get something going here to try and ensure that we do get these measurements into the schools, and more importantly, that we do get the clean air and the filtration in there as well. Sarah Weatherald from the Cleaner Air Advocacy Group, and Dr. Ciara Steele, GP and also a member of Clean Air Advocacy Ireland. Thank you very much indeed, both of you, for joining us on the show this morning.
Thank you so much, Donal.
Our pleasure. This is the 9 till noon show here on Highland Radio. We're come to the end of the first hour. News and obituaries with Donna Marie coming up, and we're back with the second hour in just a few moments.
Join me, David James, and my band this Friday night in the Melon Country Inn, Omagh. Doors open at 9 o'clock, so come along for a great night of dancing this Friday in the Melon.
Starting to think about what's next? Then don't miss Ulster University's Open Days this September. Visit us in Derry, Londonderry, Coleraine and Belfast to find out where a degree from Ulster could take you. Ulster combines a fantastic student experience with a focus on your future career. That's why we're named the UK and Ireland University of the Year 2024 by Times Higher Education Awards. Register now at ulster.ac.uk/opendays.
As the days get shorter, the kids get back to school, and we start to make our homes a little cozier. We're all looking for smarter ways to save. Electric Ireland can help get you there. Switch to our best smart meter plan and save up to 30%. Visit electricireland.ie. EAB €1,199 based on 12-month home electric plus SST Saver electricity. Discounted unit rates with online billing, direct debit and VAT. Smart meter required. Subject to change. T's and C's apply.
All you need to make your house a home at Patterson's The Hall Lifford. From garden furniture to kitchens, sofas and dining sets, all under one roof. Need a new mattress? Why not visit our sleep centre on the first floor? With a large range of quality beds and mattresses in stock and ready for collection or delivery. Relax in our coffee shop serving hot lunches daily. Open Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Patterson's Kitchens and Interiors, The Hall Lifford.
I'm Fionnuala Fibre O'Farrell Flynn, racing across the country to keep up with NBI's fibre rollout. Over 50 broadband providers are using NBI's network to bring high-speed fibre broadband to homes across Ireland. So from Ballyliffin to Ballybuffet, homeowners can pick whatever package suits their needs and still get all the benefits of rural Ireland's dedicated fibre broadband network. Connect at nbi.ie.
MBI is delivering the government's national broadband plan.
Another connection. Oh, I knew I shouldn't have worn heels.
McGowan Hearing, your audiologist experts, now in Letterkenny, Buncrana and Carndonna. Book your free hearing aid consultation in our clinic or your home across the northwest and beyond with Dara McGowan on 07191 00208.
Live, on air, online and on the Highland Radio app. This is Highland Radio News.
Good morning, it's Donna Marie Doherty with the news at 10 o'clock. People living close to one of Europe's largest illegal dumps in Derry have been sharing their concerns over the site. It's estimated to contain about 1.6 million tonnes of waste, and Stormont's Agri-Minister admitted there will be no quick fix. The first of two events have been held to gather the public's views on plans to clear the site.
Toxic waste, toxic chemicals, you just don't know, but just get it cleaned up as soon as possible.
I'm a local farmer here and I've always been interested in the environment and what's going on and who's responsible.
Well, we live very close to it, so we've always been interested in what's been done with it. I would like to know that it's being monitored, especially for drinking water, etc.
Students of Little Angel School in Letterkenny have entered their new building for the first time today. The new school opened its doors following delays. It was due to open on Monday, leading to parents having some frustration. It's claimed the Mercosur trade agreement is a major gain for the farming industry. The European Commission in Ireland says the deal between the EU and Argentina, Brazil, Paraguay and Uruguay will reduce tariffs and taxes on a whole range of products. Yesterday, the Commission formally proposed the deal for approval for the European Council. Members of the European Parliament will also vote on the agreement with the four Mercosur countries. Head of the European Commission in Ireland, Peter Power, says the Commission has introduced a range of measures to address farmers' concerns about the massive trade deal.
Dairy products will see their tariffs cut by up to 55%. There's also a major export drive for chemicals, pharmaceuticals, transport equipment, industrial equipment. So the range of products covered by this agreement is vast.
Concerns have been raised for a man who was reported as missing yesterday from Dublin. He's known to travel to Donegal. Cleisha Conley reports.
48-year-old Matthew Mello from Clondalkin in Dublin 22 was last seen at approximately 5 o'clock yesterday evening. He's known to frequent Lifford. Matthew is described as being approximately 5'9" in height, of a stocky build with grey hair and blue eyes. When last seen, he was wearing a grey Under Armour top, construction trousers and sneakers. He's also believed to have access to a purple Opel Corsa car with the reg 10D13. Gardaí and Matthew's family are concerned for his well-being, and those with information on his whereabouts are asked to contact Gardaí.
iCare in Inishowen is to receive an additional €200,000 per year from the HSE and the Department of Children, Disability and Equality. iCare was founded by families in the area to support children and young people within the locality who have autism. The group now say the extra funding will increase and stabilise its workforce, expand the range of programmes they deliver and improve accessibility to its services for people from across the Inishowen Peninsula. Minister Charlie McConalogue, who supported iCare in their submission, says the group has relied on fundraising heavily until this point.
The real pressure off iCare, I've no doubt they will still do fundraising, but the situation since their foundation has been that they've existed primarily on fundraising, and there's that pressure there all the time to be able to keep the doors open. What this now means that there's very strong, stable annual funding from the HSE, which relieves that pressure and allows them to build and plan ahead in their development as well.
Heather Humphreys, the Fine Gael presidential nomination, has expressed regret over her 2014 appointment of Donegal businessman John McNulty to the board of the Irish Museum of Modern Art. The appointment was the subject of a controversy at the time, leading to accusations from Fianna Fáil that the party had used the position to improve McNulty's prospects in the Seanad elections. McNulty later resigned from the board to run for a Seanad seat in accordance with a policy that prohibited him from holding both roles concurrently. During an interview with RTE's News at 1 yesterday, Humphrey acknowledged that she was new to her role as Minister for Arts, Heritage and the Gaeltacht at the time, and stated that the decision was made on her own merit. Uisce Éireann have issued 2 water outage notices as repairs get underway on burst water mains. The set of works affecting Massera and Kilmacrennan and its surrounds will take place until 4:30 this afternoon, while Lower Main Street, Letterkenny, Ran, Ballymacool and surrounding areas can expect their water supplies to return from around 2:30 this afternoon. In both cases, it may take up to 4 hours after the restoration time for supplies to fully return. Looking now to weather, scattered showers and sunny spells this morning and in the early afternoon with the odd heavy shower possible. It will become drier later this afternoon as the showers clears with highs of 15 or 16 degrees. That's all for now from the newsroom. Back with headlines at 11 o'clock. The obituary notices this Thursday morning, September 4th. The death has occurred of John McDyer in his 102nd year, Mass Glenties. John's remains will repose at Shovelin's funeral home, Sandfield, Ardra, today from 4 p.m. till 7 p.m, followed by removal to his home. Removal from his home on Saturday morning at 10:30 to St Connell's Church, Glenties, for Requiem Mass at 11 a.m, with interment afterwards in the local cemetery. Funeral Mass can be viewed on churchservices.tv. Rosary both nights at 9 p.m. Family time from 10 p.m. until 10 a.m. Family flowers only. Donations in lieu if desired to the Day Centre, Glenties. The death has taken place of John Stack, formerly of St Columkill Village, Clonmany, Riverdale Park, Strabo, Buncrana, County Donegal and Blackrock, County Dublin. John will be reposing at his home in St Columkill Village, Clonmany from 3 to 8 p.m. tomorrow. Requiem Mass will take place in St Mary's Church, Cockhill on Saturday at 11 o'clock, followed by burial in the adjoining cemetery. For those unable to attend in person, the funeral Mass will be streamed online on churchservices.tv. The death has taken place of Teresa McGarvey, Domville Road, Temple Low, County Dublin, and formerly of Derryard, Creasla, County Donegal. Her remains will arrive at St Michael's Church, Creasla, tomorrow at 6 p.m. to repose overnight. Funeral Mass there on Saturday at 11 a.m, followed by burial in Doe Graveyard. Funeral Mass can be viewed live on mcn.live. The death has taken place of Dolly Higgins, 21, Sleeve Snack Close, Letterkenny. Dolly's remains will be reposing at his home, 21 Sleeve Snack Close, today from 5 p.m. until 10 p.m. and tomorrow from 12 noon until 10 p.m, with Rosary both nights at 9 o'clock. Funeral from there on Saturday at 10:30, going to St Eunan's Cathedral, Letterkenny for 11 a.m. Requiem Mass, which can be viewed on churchservices.tv. Interment afterwards in Conwall Cemetery. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu if desired to the intensive care unit, Letterkenny University Hospital, care of any family member. The death has taken place of Marion Doherty, née Canning, 11 Ballybowes, Greencastle. Marion's remains are reposing at her home. Funeral from there tomorrow morning at 10:20 for 11 a.m. Requiem Mass in St Mary's Church, Ballybrack, followed by interment in the adjoining cemetery. Family time from 10 p.m. tonight. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu if desired to the Donegal Hospice, care of any family member or Eamon McLaughlin, funeral director. The death has taken place of Nancy McCallion, late of Parochial House, Brisland Road, Eglinton and Meadenmore, Quigley's Point. Nancy's remains are reposing at the home of her niece, Helen Grant, in Tourmuff. Funeral from there tomorrow morning at 11:20 for Requiem Mass in St Patrick's Church, Iskaheen at 12 noon. Interment afterwards in the adjoining cemetery. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu if flowers, if wished, to the Friends of Altnagelvin, Ward 41, care of Mr Peter Nichol, MDEC Unit, Altnagelvin Hospital, Glenshane Road, Derry. Funeral Mass can be viewed on the parish webcam. For family information and more details regarding wakes and funerals, please go to highlandradio.com.
Hey there, looking for car insurance that's simple, fast and comes with a little extra? That's RedClick. You can save an average of €245 when you quote online. Insurance that's easy, insurance that's quick. Whenever you need us, you just need to click. Visit redclick.ie. Discount based on new private car policies from 1st November 24 to 1st February 25. Max discount €300. Apply before optional covers. Subject to minimum premium. Acceptance criteria, terms and conditions apply. Generali Seguros y Reyes Seguros SAU, trading as RedClick and Generali, is authorised by the General Directorate of Insurance and Pension Funds in Spain and is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland for conduct of business rules.
This is hour 2 of the 9 till noon show on this Thursday morning here on Highland Radio. Just looking at a few of your comments. Caller says it's the government that should be sponsoring the likes of this. It just goes to show what our government is like. It's a total waste of space. I suspect that comment refers to the services being provided by Cancer Care West, for which money is being raised by the Donegal Camino, which is underway. It's day 5 of the Camino. They're on Aranmore Island today, and we're making regular contact with Greg Hughes, who's doing that walk today, along with the walkers, and we'll be touching back in with Greg very, very shortly. The school secretary and caretaker strike is continuing into the 6th day now, and a lot of messages coming in. We want to send a message of support to Kathy and James, our school secretary and caretaker at Scull Owen in Moville. They're currently on strike for fair pension conditions. Their hard work is crucial to our children's safety and the school experience. As parents, we stand by them in their fight for a fair resolution, and that comes from Susan, and there's a message of support in for Kathy and James from the other school staff, the teachers, etc. as well. Fair play to them, says the caller. People keep on strike till you get what other people get. I just want to say the bus escorts on special need buses get nothing either. Please highlight that as well. It's about time the teachers and the teachers' unions got behind the secretaries in real terms, not just in terms of lip service. Another caller says we should stand with school secretaries and SNA's campaigns for equal treatment. Historically, governments play it tough with females, often mother-dominated groups, on protests such as teachers, nurses and secretaries. They let them swing in the wind and rain before engaging in talks in the hope that other parties like parents start to complain. A lot of comments still coming in about the cutting down of the oak tree in Letterkenny. Caller says the cutting down of the 90-year-old Ballybane oak was soul destroying for me personally, as someone who spent their life in America. It says there is no hope of a future for Donegal, where a colonial, cold, calculated, ignorant arrogance rules supreme over all democracy and the wishes of the people. This was not only a crime against democracy, but a crime against nature and against Letterkenny. Just as this crime was committed in the dead of night, it is now time to relegate the Donegal County Council to the dustbin of history. Strong words there indeed. That's from Raymond. However, another caller says the sad reality of life is this is the price of progress. Sometimes in the long run, these decisions are made in the best interests of the community, even if the short-sighted tree huggers don't see it. We have to trust the qualified decision makers. Another caller says, Ray, the despicable decision to fell that majestic oak tree by the council, it was nothing less than ecocide. This so-called active travel scheme is one of the worst anti-environmental measures ever introduced, ripping up perfectly sound roads, destroying hedgerows and mature trees. I hope voters forever remember it was the Green Party who brought in this insane policy. It's time to actively block this from proceeding any further through Letterkenny. Our town is being turned into a Scalextrics set. For those of you who are under 40, Scalextrics used to be a great car racing game that was played by children. Donegal County Council is the same as our government. They'll do what they want. If they don't, it's like, who cares? Then they talk about Putin and Trump. Donegal County Council are going to have a public meeting about traffic. They will sit there, pretend to listen and still do their own thing. Forget about the cycle lanes and sort out the traffic with a bridge or at least a slip lane out of the Polestar from the Ramelton Road. These trees weren't causing any problems. Our council are absolutely inept at what they are doing regarding roads and traffic. The electorate in Letterkenny should remember the councillors who voted to remove the tree and install a cycle lane at the next election. And then another caller says there are a number of councillors who should hang their heads in shame about cutting down this tree. Councillors who supported the active travel proposal. I hope the people who signed the petition to save the oak tree remember the councillors that voted to cut down the tree in the next election. Now, in fairness, the council will tell you that no councillor specifically voted to cut down the tree. And I know the members were in active discussions with the council in a bid to save the tree, but the decision was not a decision of councillors. That was an executive decision taken by council officials. Now, I know a lot of people won't necessarily see the distinction in that, and it's but that is the situation. The councillors were in discussion with officials to see if there was an alternative. Fair play to that lady, typical of the council to cut it down in the middle of the night. Fit them better to sort out and get a lane for emergency services coming into Port Road. And that lady, I presume this is Mary T. Sweeney that's being referred to, who was speaking with Greg on the show yesterday. The only solution to Letterkenny's traffic problems is a bridge. Politicians have failed us over and over. Time to stop voting for them. And the only thing I'll say is every politician in Donegal is supportive of the Bonnigy link and the second bridge over the Swilly. There is not one single politician within the county who is against that. Everyone is voting for it. Everyone is campaigning for it. Everyone is pushing for it. And I don't think that's an issue in terms of local support for that bridge. Another caller says, I walk the Business Park Road footpath cycle lane most evenings. It's in an atrocious condition. In some stretches, part of the footpath has been 50% been lost to tree growth. It's absolute hypocrisy to be building new cycle lanes and footpaths whilst completely abandoning the existing infrastructure. Spend the money on maintaining what we have instead of the monstrosity vanity project that is the Ballyrain Greenway. There's some of the comments in regarding the oak tree there. Now, a very important issue. Can you get Uisce Éireann on to explain why there are repeated outages in southwest Donegal as they're ignoring citizens? Now, we know there was a major problem in the Lettermacca Ward water supply plant this week, and that had a knock-on effect right over toward Doohery and then over toward Mahary and Dewey and places like that. And we know that the school in Doohery, I understand, had to close for a period, and several homes were without water for quite some time, to the extent that they had to bring a tanker out to the car park there at Lettermacca Ward. Now, that we understand that particular issue has been resolved, but there were knock-on issues then, and it impacted right up as far as Dunlow, and there's going to be more issues, I suspect, in that particular area. Uisce Éireann is meeting later this month with Donegal County Council. Now, members are telling us, and members of council are telling us, that they're finding it impossible to get answers from Uisce Éireann. Uisce Éireann is telling us, I mean, when we can get in touch with them, Uisce Éireann is telling us that it's working to resolve issues, but I am not aware that they have in any way agreed to speak to either the programme or the newsroom, or to come on and take questions with regards to what's been happening in Lettermacca Ward, or indeed the area around Cloughanilly, Dunfanaghy, Falcara, Creasla, that's had a number of serious problems in recent times as well. One more before we go for a break. A caller asks, is it illegal to have a pipe with slurry on it in a river? I was out walking this morning near Glen Swilly and I saw a slurry tanker pipe in a small river that flows into the Swilly. The pipe looks like it's been there a while, as the grass around the area is flattened. It's like someone is filling a slurry tanker with water from the river regularly. The pipe still has slurry on it and the smell is quite strong. Approximately 500 to 600 metres downriver, this small river flows into the Swilly. Now, we've had a response from Donegal County Council to the issue, and the council says this. This particular incident can be investigated if the listener contacts the council's environmental section and provides more accurate details of the location in question. The practice of lifting quantities of water from surface water streams for the dilution of slurry is commonplace. There is no legislation to prevent it. The onus is on farmers and contractors to take care to ensure that this practice does not lead to contamination of the water source they are accessing through the use of dirty pipes in the extraction process. The council appeals to anyone extracting water for the dilution of slurry as the slurry spreading season draws to a close to ensure that any hose pipes inserted into small streams or rivers are cleaned before use and are used solely for this purpose. Farmers are reminded that water quality in streams, rivers and lakes has been found to continue to decline nationally, and this may have serious medium to long-term consequences for the agricultural industry in this country. So that's a response there from Donegal County Council. 18 minutes past 10. It's long past time for the bingo numbers. So if you play Highland Radio Vision Ireland Bingo, and it's a Thursday, which I believe Thursday is jackpot day, unless I'm very much mistaken, which I might be, because I'm very sure you know an awful lot more about this than I do. But if you do play, grab your books, grab your pens, and in just a moment, we'll hand you over to Canis.
The county's #1 talk show, the 9 till noon show on Highland Radio.
It's time for Vision Ireland Bingo on Highland Radio.
It's Thursday, the 4th of September, Jackpot Day. You're playing for the jackpot prize of €9,200 on the pink sheet. The reference number is S19. It's game number 36. The jackpot number is 31. This number can come out in any position from the next 10 numbers drawn. And now, here are your daily numbers. 52, 29, 62, 86, 72, 9, 6, 13, 10, and finally 20. Phone your claim to 9104833 before midnight, leaving your name, contact number and the name of the shop where you purchased your book, and we'll call you back the next working day. Get all your Vision Ireland bingo information at highlandradio.com.
We carry those up long before the day breaks, who make our lives better, whatever it takes. And for those who need some extra assistance, we'll get you on board. we'll go the distance. With new electric vehicles, quiet and cleaner, our growing TFI network helps keep Ireland greener for the days of your life and the big nights out too. We're Transport for Ireland. We're transport for you.
You've got experience. Now it's time to build on it. With Skills to Advance, get the tools to grow with flexible, tailor-made courses in areas like AI, digital skills, sustainability, technology, leadership and management. They're short, practical and low cost. So whether you're looking to step up, switch paths or stay sharp, this is your next move. Contact your local education and training board or visit skillstoadvance.ie. Skills to Advance. Boost skills, boost business. Supported by Solus and the Government of Ireland.
It's a pivotal weekend in the Donegal Senior Football Championship. Our feature game in round 4 this Sunday comes from the Donegal GA Centre. It's a top-of-the-table clash as McCool's take on Gweedore, throw-in at 4 p.m. We'll also have coverage from Dunlow's fixture against Four Masters, St Michael's trip to Neve Connell and Kilcar's hosting of Glen Swilly. You'll not miss a thing from the Donegal Senior Club Championship this weekend on Highland Sunday Sport.
Coverage of the Donegal Senior Football Championship is with Highland Motors Letterkenny and the all-new Dacia Duster from just €199 per month. Refreshed looks, sophisticated, yet practical and tough. Now also available in hybrid.
The Donegal Cheviot and Cheviot Cross Breeders Group will hold their annual sale of Cheviots, Cheviot Mules, Suffolk Cross Cheviots and Cheviot Cross Blackface Hogget Ewes and Ewe Lambs this Friday the 5th at Stranraer Mart. The sale is at 6 with viewing from 3 p.m. That's the Donegal Cheviot Cross Breeders Group sale this Friday at Stranraer Mart. This ad is kindly sponsored by Lynch Brothers Northwest Plant Hire Limited, Lynsford, Buncrana.
It's hour 2 of the 9 till noon show, 21 minutes past 10 o'clock. Just before the break, we were speaking briefly about Uisce Éireann and the water situation in southwest Donegal, and I did mention that those issues in Lettermacca Ward had spread out toward other areas, including Mahary, and suggested that there would be more issues in those areas in the coming days. Well, wouldn't you know, as always, our listeners know an awful lot more than I do. And we're joined on the line by Mary, who is involved with the Mahary Senior Social Club. Mary, good morning.
Good morning, Donal.
Mary, your club meets on a Tuesday and Wednesday. Now, the water situation is you didn't have water yesterday, but do have it today, as I understand.
Well, yes, that is correct. But we had a lot of misinformation over the last few days. On Monday, we were aware there was some water issues, but it wasn't affecting us. On Tuesday, we had our seniors back after our summer break. Big excitement, and everything went okay. But we were aware there was water issues, so we filled extra like water containers, filled the boiler for tea, etc., just in case, you know, there was breakage in the supply. And for Wednesday, Pat the Cope had a post online for Tuesday evening saying that he was assured that there would be water for Wednesday. So we, of course, planned to go forward. But on Wednesday morning, local people were saying they had no water. And yes, when we got to Mahary, we absolutely had no water. Nothing. So we were left in a situation where everybody was already in preparation for attending our day centre. And at a late notice, once we realised we were not going to have water, but again, even trying to get information from anybody from Uisce Éireann, no information. So there was a lack of communication and misinformation that we weren't in a situation then to cancel until approximately 10 o'clock in the morning.
And I'm sure at that point a lot of people were, if not already arriving, on their way to the centre. And the reality is a centre like that can't operate without water. They'll expect the cup of tea, but I mean, for hygiene purposes as well, for toiletry and other convenience purposes. I mean, you know, a centre like yours just cannot operate without water safely.
Yeah, well, here's the issue, you know, apart from the excitement of us starting back, like if somebody could have told us the evening before and said, okay, you're going to have no water. But like, to be left, you know, I think the misinformation coming from online particularly Pat the Cope's post, saying that he was assured from whoever is supplying the water that we would have water. So we were told that. So obviously we carried on. But yes, it's disappointment. And another thing, we weren't given information so people could prepare. So as I was calling everybody and cancelling the bus services, a lot of people weren't prepared to have no water. Speaking this morning to Aranmore, there is water in the centre this morning, but there's a lot of houses in the area that still haven't got water because it's just filtering through, and I know some of the houses on the higher ground may have to wait the rest of the day, and they have no facilities for, flushing toilets and making tea and having a shower or washing hands. It's very unfair to be left without any information.
I think, in fairness to Uisce Éireann, I will say my understanding is on this occasion there was a specific problem that they were working around the clock to try and resolve in Leitrimecca Ward, and that was having a knock-on effect to Mahary over toward Duhuri and elsewhere as well. It did have a knock-on right as far we understand up to Dunlow. But from the point of view of what was happening in Leitrimecca Ward, and in fairness to Pat the Cope, I suppose, he was told that evening by Uisce Éireann, I'm sure, that they said, look, we're working to resolve it. We should have it resolved by the morning. Now, and maybe at that point they genuinely did expect to have it resolved by the morning, but it took all night working to try and get it resolved. And they always tell us that if once they stop work on a thing like that, it's going to take potentially minimum 3 to 4 hours before they can actually get the water supply fully back up to speed. So that information was probably given, in good faith. But the problem is, it wasn't information. It was a projection. It was a hope that it would be resolved in the morning. And expectation and hope is it's all well and good. But that's not information. And part of the problem here is what's being expressed as a hope is being taken as concrete information. And maybe what we need to do is to be more honest and say, look, we hope to have water in the morning, but we can't guarantee it. And please take steps accordingly to provide.
Yeah, that's probably good advice. And hindsight is a good thing. But look, a lot of people had to go about their daily business yesterday with absolutely no water all day. I know there was no water. I know Aranmore had to cancel other classes yesterday evening because they just didn't have the facilities, and they had to, it just doesn't help our local area or our local people.
And the problem is, and we do know there's been a long-standing issue with Uisce Éireann and information. And in one sense, the problem is that this would have been under the control of Donegal County Council up to very recently. And when it was under the control of Donegal County Council, and this is the bottom line, and I think this is at the root of a lot of the issues we're having with Uisce Éireann at the moment. When it was under the control of the County Council, every councillor had the number of 3 or 4 people who would have worked in the water service, would have worked at the reservoirs, would have intimately known what was going on, and a councillor could ring someone and say, what's the crack? They'd say, yeah, it'll be sorted by X, and they would know what they were talking about. Your problem now is you've got 3 or 4 layers. The people that councillors are contacting in Uisce Éireann don't know the situation. So the councillors are contacting people in a communications department who are contacting people in management who are contacting people on the ground. So instead of councillors being able to speak to the person on the ground and get the up-to-date situation, the councillors are speaking to somebody in an office who doesn't have a clue what's going on the ground, and it's going through 3 or 4 layers before the information gets to the people, and that's really created a bottleneck that hasn't yet been resolved. And trying to bridge that gap is going to be a major challenge for Uisce Éireann in the next while, if they're to really get information out to the people. Because what's happening at the moment is Uisce Éireann may well say in good faith, look, we're doing what we can to resolve the situation, but until they can get the information out there, they're going to have a problem.
Yeah. Well, look, I can't do anything about Uisce Éireann, but look, we'll look after our seniors and our local people, and please God, we'll get back to normal duties next week and get everybody out of their homes, because that's what we're trying to do. We're doing a lot of social inclusion and getting people together and having a fun day out.
And it's hugely important, and Mary, the work that you and others in senior clubs like that, the Senior Social Club in Mahari. It's so important, and it's so wonderful that you're doing the work. Mary Rogers there at the Mahari Senior Social Club. Thank you so much for the work you do, and we look forward to hearing that all the clients and the people are having the crack in the coming days. But for now, Mary, thank you.
Thank you, Donal. Bye.
Yeah, and I suppose maybe from our point of view as well, I'm in the news, and every day on the news I am reading out notices from Uisce Éireann about work happening here and work happening there and potential supply issues, and please allow X amount of time for. And maybe I, as a journalist who's reading this stuff on a daily basis, maybe I need to be reminded on a regular basis that when you're talking about things like this, what you're talking about is real life. And indeed, caller says, look, I live in Mahari. We're having a lot of problems with water in the area. This morning we're off once again. It's very frustrating with winter setting in. I'm lighting my fire more, and this leaves me with no heat. And indeed, if you have a back boiler, then, you know, that's you're heating out the window if you're depending on a back boiler. It's so difficult, and it's important that we get information. But again, as I said, the part of the problem here is there's information and there is hope and expectation, and sometimes they don't tally. Caller says, ask that lady, why is it all the new houses are sealed tight? Not one drop of air gets around the house, and that's why everyone will be sick more often. That's an interesting point. Now, I remember when I was growing up we were in a 3-bedroom semi in a housing estate in Waterford. And I had a vent in my bedroom. There was a little vent. I'm sure a lot of we have it. They were little they stuck out at a sort of 45-degree angle from the wall with a space. And every room in the house had one of those, as well as obviously windows that would have been opened on a regular basis. And now I suppose places are more hermetically sealed, but the expectation is there'll be air conditioning and there'll be filters and there'll be everything else. And sometimes the best filtration is an open window, just like sometimes the best way of becoming immune to stuff is just having, falling down in the dust and getting the dust into the wounds and building up immunity to stuff that way. It's an interesting one. Now, we're going to take a short break, and when we're back, we're going to be speaking about carers' allowances and the age-old question, should they be means tested? Back in a moment.
Watch the show live now on YouTube, Facebook and at highlandradio.com.
If you're aged 59 to 70, we will invite you for a free HSE bowel screening home test. Screening can help find signs of bowel cancer early, before any symptoms show, making it easier to treat.
The Redcastle Hotel and Spa would like to invite you to their wedding fair on Sunday, 7th of September from 1 to 4 p.m. View our stunning waterfront venue, meet the wedding team, top industry suppliers with breathtaking views, refreshments and more. Avail of great incentives for bookings made on the day. Please visit redcastlehotel.com for more information.
You can do it, just a little bit further.
Gillian pushes people to get fit.
Don't worry, we're nearly there.
She also pulls them to safety in an emergency. It takes commitment and courage to be a retained firefighter, but the impact you make will last a lifetime. Discover how you could become a retained firefighter in your community. Visit fireireland.ie. A message from the Government of Ireland.
If you have a special occasion coming up, Watson Menswear stock a great selection of men's and boys' formal and casual wear. Top casual brands include Mishmash, French Connection, Tommy Bow and Penguin. Formal wear names include Rimazumo, Sixth Sense and White Label, with a special suit deal of a 3-piece suit, shirt, tie and shoes, all for only €299. Watson Menswear, open 7 days a week on Main Street, Letterkenny and at watsonmenswear.com.
Frozen berry blast, please. You alright, love?
Do you know what I've done?
What have you done?
Do you see Pete sleeping over there? I got the sun cream and I've only gone and drawn it on his back.
I love it, really? But that's not Pete.
Oh, then who?
Oh, very funny.
Avoid having the wrong kind of fun in the sun. At Specsavers, get 2-for-1 designer glasses, including sunglasses, from €130 with single vision lenses to the same prescription. Terms and conditions apply. See in store for details.
Don't delay when you get your bowel screening invitation. Call us today on 1-800 45 45 55 or visit bowelscreen.ie. From the HSE.
This is the 9 till noon show on Highland Radio. Halfway through, it's 25 to 11. Means testing, carers allowance. There's been a long and lengthy discussion about it, with many people believing it's unfair that the allowance is means tested. And what happens if someone just goes a notch over the threshold and they have their carers allowance cut? Well, that's what happened to Anthony, who joins us on the line. Anthony, good morning.
How you doing, Donal?
Very well indeed. Anthony, please tell us your story.
Story is fairly simple. The means threshold was increased, but we knew that there was a round of means testing coming. I mean, we knew we were going to fall foul of it, but there's nothing we could really do. It hasn't been increased. I mean, they're patting themselves on the back because they've increased it, but they haven't increased it enough. I'm not coming on here saying it shouldn't be means tested to a degree, but I mean, give us a little bit of breathing space, a little bit of wiggle room to earn a living and provide for our families and the vulnerable people that, like people like ourselves, provide 24-hour care for. I mean, the speed and efficiency with which they swooped in and cut everything out from under us was it was jarring. So, like I say, I mean, maybe a case-by-case basis and not a one-size-fits-all. I know I'm not saying anybody isn't entitled to it. Everybody in their situation is entitled to it. But maybe review the cases. I mean, us personally, our son is severely disabled. He requires 24/7 care. And it's more just the punch to the stomach when they come in and say, you guys are doing just fine. We'll just take this couple of euro off you. You don't need that. And away they go, quite happy. And you just left there feeling just, God, guys, come on, give us a break. Like we're doing good. Like we have a family. We're working hard. We're paying our taxes. Give us a break.
You did make the point that your wife is the main carer for your son, but she does also go out to work, and she has to do that to preserve her sanity, and I can absolutely understand that, and I think everybody else will as well.
I would never ever ask my wife to stop working. I mean, everybody needs a social outlet. I mean, we've got 4 teenagers in the house. Our eldest boy, 19, is the son with a disability, but we've got 3 other teenagers. One's going to be hopefully going to college next year. That's going to be another expense, and they help out so much in the house as well. Like it's a family affair looking after our son AJ. You know, everybody does their bit, and it works for us. And you know, I mean, I don't want to say it's not about the money, because you're going to notice the money, you know, that they've cut, but it's just the coldness of it, you know. I mean, if everybody who looked after their family members at home, like we all do, and we all do it, and we all love our family members, but what if we all just turned around and said, okay, this is an adult here, this is an Irish citizen, you look after him. Like, not that anybody would ever do that, and they know this.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, it's a drop in the bucket, you know, compared to what it would cost to look after these people in you know, in care homes or whatever. Obviously, not that anybody would ever do that, but
the problem is this does appear to be a decision based on this is a decision based on accounting rather than a decision based on the actual understanding of what you and your wife and the rest of your family are doing, and an understanding of the expense that you're sparing the state. Anthony, stay with us, please. I want to go to Sinn Féin councillor Jack Murray. He's the Kilkirlock of the Inishowen Municipal District. And Jack, this issue of the means testing of the carers allowance, that's something that your party has taken a keen interest in.
It is. One of the last motions we moved in the Dáil just before the last general election was to abolish the means testing for carers. And at that time, we got apologies from the government parties. Simon Harris at the time said that they were a party that listens and takes action, and that they're going to act on this. But here we are a year later, and these families getting these letters saying that the carers are being cut. And I want to pay tribute to Anthony. Anthony very clearly, and I've spoken to him today and yesterday, is a man that loves his son and simply just wants what's best for his son. And this has been a punch in the stomach for him. And it has to be an accountancy decision, and it's about saving the state money. But in reality, it's not even doing that, because if these carers, people who are providing 24-hour care for their loved ones, if the state had to step in, it would cost billions more. If it was necessary. Now, Anthony says that's not going to happen in his case, but like, if it was to happen, and the state are just leveling this on families, knowing that they're loving families, knowing that they want what's best for their families, and thinking, actually, we can save money by exploiting youth, and that's just desperately immoral, unfair, and just shows a lack of compassion from the state. So I think there has to be action on this, and the means testing has to be abolished.
Now, when Sinn Féin moved a motion on this just before the end of the last Dáil, toward the end of the year, there, the government, it wasn't defeated. The government didn't oppose it, but that's not to say the government supported it. Effectively, when the government doesn't oppose a motion, the motion is passed, the motion just goes nowhere because it's not a government motion. So in one sense, the proposal that's gone through the Dáil and has been passed is out there in limbo at the moment. And Sinn Féin is in opposition, there's nothing it can do about it, but the government can. And you think it's now time for the government to really pull this bull by the horns and actually look at this whole issue of the carers allowance. They've talked the talk, now it's time to walk the walk.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't oppose it at the time, but they made great grandiose plans of how they're going to resolve it if back in government, and they might have got even votes from people in Anthony's predicament who believed their promises. But look, it's a year later, and that's why I want to pay tribute to Anthony for coming on, raising this issue again, putting it front and centre again, so those politicians that are in government can hear it, realise that they failed thousands of families across the state, and maybe now feel the pressure, feel the burn, and know that they need to take action on this issue, because it's not going to go away, and the carers that I feel are being exploited won't be lying down on us.
At the very least, one would have thought that the thresholds should be increased significantly, because from what Anthony has been telling us, it's like they're not far off the breadline at the moment. It isn't as though they're a filthy rich family bringing in a load of money and they don't need this. I mean, this is something that's going to be noticed, the loss of this allowance. And the problem now is with other children hitting college age, with other children needing to, be supported financially maybe for a couple of years, now more than ever, whatever bit of money the family has is going to be needed and is going to be necessary. So the very least the state needs to be doing is to be taking that into account and saying, okay, well look, if we still have a means test, we're going to have to raise the threshold literally by tens of thousands of euro.
Like, I agree as a point of principle that the mean session should be abolished as a whole, because I think on a compassionate grounds it's the right thing, it's the morally right thing for the state to do. But like, even as a middle of the road agreement, families such as Anthony's, whose son requires 24-hour full-time care, there should be some discretion for families like that are more in need of like 24 hours, 7 days a week care. There has to be some level of compassion. There has to be some kind of review that could be done, or exceptional circumstances at the very least that should be applied. I know Paddy McLaughlin's office had looked into this and was told absolutely not on these circumstances, and I think it's so desperately unfair, just lacks compassion and humanity as far as I'm concerned.
Anthony, can I go back to you for a moment? Because another issue that gets discussed an awful lot is the issue of respite and what the state can do to provide some form of a break for yourself, for your wife and for your family. Now, we know there's been a lot of talk about respite in Donegal and the lack of services. Your son, 19, almost sort of halfway between, childhood and adulthood, and we know there's been issues with childhood respite, there's been issues with adult respite. Where do you stand in relation to the services you've been given by the state, the support you've been given by the state for things like respite? Do you get it at all?
No, we don't get anything like that. Like, there was never a facility that could. I think there was respite to a degree at a stage, but it wouldn't have been able to accommodate somebody like my son with his conditions, and he takes a lot of medication as well. At 19, he's not entitled to home help. That would have been another point I made. Like, my father passed away 3 years ago, but for the last 2 years, we were getting home help we were able to keep him at home, which like meant everything to us. But we just couldn't have done it without those carers that were coming in morning, afternoon, and evening. Those half an hour's age, he doesn't even qualify for that because of his age, and I don't believe that's mean tested, which is kind of not a double standard, but that would be a massive help to us, but he doesn't qualify for that.
So I'm going to phrase this really clumsily, and please do forgive me for doing so. But is your son, in a sense, in limbo, that he's not quite a child and not quite an adult in the eyes of the state? He doesn't qualify for the home help support because he's not old enough, but he doesn't qualify for child supports because he's too old.
They fall into a bit of a hole between 16 and 18 where they don't really qualify as an adult or a child. But now that he's 19, he's considered an adult. Like he's moved into like adult services.
Yeah.
He used to attend Temple Street in Crumlin. Like he'd be in hospital fairly regular. He spent 3 weeks over Christmas in hospital. He had to get surgery on his hip. But I don't know. I'm not an expert, and I'm sure somebody will correct me on this. But I don't think you qualify for the home help until you're over 65. Like it's the older generation that can.
Well, that's specifically home help for older people. But I mean, it does then beg the question: do we need to be looking at things like supports in the home for people in the situation your son is in? Now we know at the moment they don't have enough operatives to actually supply all the home help that's needed for older people. So if they were to expand the eligibility, then we go down a whole new rabbit hole of how do we actually get the personnel to provide the service. But it seems, on the one hand, it seems quite unfair that on the one hand the state is denying you services, if we can put it as bluntly as that. But on the other hand, the state's now also denying you the little bit of money it used to give you to help support you.
I don't think they're even denying us that service. I just don't think it exists. But I mean, just the coldness, like Jack says, it's an accountancy thing. Like we're just numbers on a spreadsheet to them. I mean, they've even. Even like the insult on top of injury, like they swooped in immediately, and like my wife would have been entitled to a travel pass. Not that age you can travel on public transport, but she had that. We have a younger son that travels semi-regularly to appointments in Dublin, and they swooped in and they took that. You used to get an exemption on a TV license, swooped in and took that. Once you get a respite grant, swooped in and they took that too. It's just like the letters just came in one after the other into the house, and myself and my wife just sat at the kitchen table and just looked at you and thought, Jesus Christ, guys, this is cold. Like this is just, they do not care. They do not care. I mean, and I'm sure in this last round of means testing, I'm sure that there's a lot of people just like us sitting at home now listening to this show in the same situation, and just like you feel like you can do nothing. So I was driving to Letterkenny yesterday to pick up a van, and I just worked myself up into such an annoyance that I started WhatsApping local councillors just to see any feedback. Jack came back to me straight away. I'm like I said, I'm not a party guy. I vote for the man. Jack came back straight away, and we had a long back and forth. And Padraig McLaughlin, he came to our assistance several years back when we were having issues. AJ is the only guy I fight for. My other kids can fight their own battles. But there was an issue with segregation after COVID, getting the special needs classes back into the mainstream in school. And Padraig McLaughlin helped me that time. It's just, I don't know what to say. You just feel kind of, I don't even know what word to put on the way I'm feeling. It's, I can't say it's about the money, but you're going to notice the money. We're a hard-working family, and we're trying to provide a certain level of living for our family, like every parent, all parents do. You work for a living, you pay your taxes, you grumble about paying your taxes, but you pay your taxes. And we do manage. It's a family affair. Like I say, our younger kids, they help out with the childcare. Like somebody always has to be at home. We don't have the same kind of social life that regular families have, I know, but we're doing okay. It's just then the government or the state comes and says, you're doing great there, well done, pat you on the head, and we'll just take this couple of pounds back after you. Don't need that, and off they go.
Anthony, very articulately put, and thank you very much indeed for speaking to us this morning. The story is now out there, and hopefully people will hear that story. It's going to resonate with a lot of people, I believe,
I hope so.
and I think a lot of people will be given very serious food for thought by what you've said. Jack, just want to give the final word to you. I'm in this job long enough to have literally, over the years, read hundreds, if not thousands, of government responses to parliamentary questions and Dáil queries, and they all start the same. In the past 2 years, the government has spent X number of £1 million on services the government provides, and it'll give 2.5 pages of everything the government does on a macro level and on a national level, and it'll bandy figures about like confetti at a wedding. And the bottom line is, it will not address Anthony's story. It will not address the stories of hundreds others, perhaps thousands others out there like Anthony and his family who are in that situation.
Absolutely, and undoubtedly it's thousands of families. And look, as the old saying goes, a society should be judged by how it treats its most vulnerable. And like Anthony said there repeatedly, it's the right word, is cold. This letter was cold. This action is cold, and I think we as Irish people, as Irish society, are much better than this. And I think this has to be addressed. Like, it reflects badly on all of us if we don't take action on this. So again, look, Simon Harris, at the time last November, said that he's a man who listens and takes action. So we're a year later. It has to be done for Anthony's family and for the thousands of others. It's just plain wrong.
Anthony and Councillor Jack Murray, thank you very much indeed for speaking to us this morning. We'll take a short break. Back after these.
If you're getting new furniture or it's time for a change, pay a visit to McGinley's Furniture in Letterkenny. There you'll find a selection of suites, beds and bedroom furniture, dining room and occasional furniture. You'll be amazed by the selection and pleasantly surprised by the prices. At McGinley's Furniture, Portlink Business Park, Port Road, Letterkenny, and online at mcginleysfurniture.com. At Charlie's in Letterkenny, they've been serving great food since 1984 to sit in and take away. Everything at Charlie's is cooked to order, so if you're having an all-day breakfast, a burger, or their renowned fish and chips, you'll know they've been freshly prepared. And there's a great selection of gluten-free options. Charlie's, in the heart of Letterkenny, open Tuesday to Saturday from 12 to 8, and for breakfast on Fridays from 9 on the Pierce Road. When the hunger hits, pull into Charlie's.
Earn as you go with our PTSB Explore current account. Earn up to €5 cashback a month as you pay with your card, and up to 5% cashback when you pay bills with our partners. For a banking experience that means more for you, apply in-app and start earning today. PTSB. Altogether more human. Qualifying criteria, terms and conditions apply. 5 cent back on card purchases up to €5 per month. Bills paid by direct debit required. Account partners and benefits are subject to change. €8 monthly maintenance fee applies. Other charges may apply. Over 18 personal customers only. E-statements only. Permanent TSB PLC trading as PTSB is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Get more for less with lunchboxes that always pass the test. Because there's 3 for 2 across lunchbox essentials with Lidl Plus. That's right, we have soft fresh breads, tasty Irish cooked meats, and delicious Irish cheeses to please absolutely everyone. Simply scan, pay and save with Lidl Plus.
For the biggest names in perfumes and aftershaves, visit McGee's Chemist Letterkenny. Dior, Armani and Hugo Boss, Victor and Rolf, Marc Jacobs and Lancôme. Also Gucci, Yves Saint Laurent, Prada and many more. From timeless classics to celebrity favourites, there's a perfume or aftershave for everyone at McGee's Chemist Letterkenny and online at mcgees.ie.
Highland Radio weather updates brought to you by McElhenny's. With new season styles arriving daily, discover the latest fashion, footwear and accessories for autumn in store or shop online at mcelhennys.com today.
Looking at the weather forecast for today, it'll be dry and bright for part of the area, but scattered showers the further west you go. Those showers becoming more widespread this morning and into the early afternoon before turning heavy. Most places may be dry by evening as the showers ease. Top temperatures 15 to 19 degrees Celsius in a light to moderate westerly breeze. Now that's Highland Radio weather for the moment. A very important issue to discuss now because there is an event taking place on Wednesday of next week at the Courtyard Shopping Centre, being hosted by Letterkenny CDP. It's World Suicide Prevention Day, and the theme of the event in the Courtyard is changing the narrative around suicide. I'm joined in a studio by James Devaney from the CDP. James, good morning.
Good morning, Donal. How are you?
Very well indeed. James, talk to us about this event that's taking place in the Courtyard. It is a hugely important one.
This event has been in the planning for a while now, but we just thought, no, this year we will definitely go with it in conjunction with World Suicide Day, because it is an issue that's impacting the whole community and communities the length and breadth of Ireland. From every single person within the community, from the Gardaí to the emergency service, to the clergy, to families, to professionals. You'd be hard pressed to find a person that hasn't been impacted by a bereavement from suicide. And we decided just to hold an event to remember the people that passed by suicide, but also to challenge that stigma, that block that there is around talking about suicide.
Changing the narrative is the theme. What sort of changes do you believe are necessary in terms of the way this issue is discussed?
The big one myself, I would say, would need to be changed is just the fact that it's okay to talk about it. It's okay to say the word. I would have done the suicide assist training back a few years ago, and it was one of the big learning curves for me on it, that it's okay to ask that question rather than dance around it. And if I ask the question, it might put it in somebody's mind, but it's okay to say the word. It's okay to ask that question. Are you thinking of taking your own life? And have that conversation rather than dancing around it, not talking about it. Because I know from my own experience, I had a couple of people very close to me that died by suicide. One, a partner back about 15 years ago, and a best friend died a few years ago. And it was that when people's talking to you, they would call it anything but use the word suicide. You know, when that happened, when she died, you know, instead of using the word, like people can use the word cancer, they can use the word addiction, they can even use the word murder, but suicide, there seemed to be a block there with it. And this event is to, I suppose, chip away at that stigma that it's okay to have the conversation and it's okay. Like at the time, I was okay with people saying it, but people thought, no, we better not say the word. You know, it was almost like the person didn't die of a cold. You know, the person died by suicide, and it's okay to say the word. You know.
And another issue is and I know a lot of people don't like the use of the word, and it's going to a certain extent with the word commit. We'll start with people committing suicide in the same way as people commit crimes, and that is to say the least unhelpful.
Commit, I don't like that word myself. It has a negative connotation. There is no, I suppose, there's no perfect word, but I prefer to use the word somebody passed by suicide, died by suicide. You know, because
and the other thing is, of course, the realisation that mental illness is becoming so prevalent now in conversation today. And the reality is, if someone has cancer, we know that it interferes with the cells in the body, and the cells in the body attack each other, and it creates conditions in the body where the body cannot sustain itself, and the body shuts down and the person passes away. Likewise, a mental illness can do things physically in the brain that causes the thought processes within the person to take a certain direction, and a negative and potentially tragic direction. But they're doing it not by personal choice. They're doing it because at the root of it is an illness which is physically affecting their body.
Yeah, very often it's not a decision taken lightly by the people. It's a decision that can take a while to take, but behind it all is either mental health, addiction, trauma. You know, there's so many issues that can lead to it. Breakup, loss, even in our own county here, Micah. You know, there's so many things that can lead to the person making that decision that I can't take any more of this, and I'm backed into a corner, and this is the only option that I can see at this present time for me.
I absolutely appreciate that. James, I'm going to ask you, if you don't mind, would you mind staying with us? We do need to take news at 11 o'clock, but I don't want to rush this to an end.
No problem.
I want to give you time to get this out. So if you don't mind standing by with us, we're going to take a short break, then we'll take the news headlines with Donna Marie, and then James will get back to yourself, if that's okay.
No problem.
Flying to Dublin on business? Enjoy same-day return and budget parking with convenient and affordable travel with Aer Lingus. Book your flight now and make your business trips easier. Fly Aer Lingus.
Forests are more important than ever.
Quilcha manages its forests sustainably to help combat climate change, to supply wood for building homes, to protect habitats for nature, and to provide beautiful places for people to enjoy. That's why Quilcha is working hard to take care of our forests and to plant new ones too. This helps to tackle climate change by capturing more carbon from the atmosphere and making our environment better for everyone. Quilcha, forests for climate, nature, wood and people, for a greener future for all.
All across Ireland, music fills cafes, salons, offices, gyms and restaurants. It creates a vibe, makes people smile. It might even turn a 4-star review into a 5. Music can lift moods, boost sales and improve staff morale. Whether your business plays background radio or a curated playlist, you need a music licence. It ensures music creators are fairly paid for their work. Buy your licence today at imro.ie/pay now, because music drives business.
The Rent-A-Room Relief Scheme is currently available, and you could earn up to €14,000 a year tax-free by renting rooms in your home to students. This scheme is open to everyone, and it won't affect your payments if you're in receipt of social welfare support. Find out more at gov.ie/room for a student, an initiative of the Government of Ireland.
From home and car to farm, commercial and public liability, at Hickey Clark and Langan, they've got you covered for insurance. They shop around all the leading insurers to make sure you get a great deal. If you're looking for a competitive quote, it's easier than you think. Call 91-26688 or call into the office at Ballymacool, Letterkenny. Hickey Clark and Langan, the local name you can trust, is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Get ready for the Donegal League at Brian McCormick Sports. BMC Teamwear, fully personalised kits with matching training packs. Call in to our Teamwear room or send us your wish list to teamwear@bmcsports.ie. Brian McCormick Sports, sponsor of Donegal League Premier Division.
This is the 9 till noon show on Highland Radio. Back with the third hour very shortly, but before we do anything else with the time just gone 11 o'clock, for the headlines we say good morning to Donna Marie Doherty.
Thanks, Donal. Good morning. A man has appeared before Letterkenny District Court following a knife incident at a premises on the main street of Fulcara on Tuesday morning. Gardaí received a report of an assault that happened at around 9 a.m, which resulted in a man in his 20s being transported to Sligo University Hospital. His injuries are non-life-threatening. The man in his 30s was arrested and charged before sitting in court yesterday. The main teaching unions have joined forces to call for urgent talks to end the strikes by school secretaries and caretakers. In a joint statement, the TUI, INTO and ASTI say that after a week of disruption, it's clear schools are struggling to operate as normal. They're urging Education Minister Helen McEntee and Public Expenditure Minister Jack Chambers to enter meaningful negotiations. Donegal ETB is to receive almost €205,000 in funding to support educationally disadvantaged learners. It's from a national pot of €4.5 million from the REACH Fund. The initiative helps learners grow personally and develop new skills and offer simplified education paths that make it easier to pursue further education and training. In the north, the leader of the TUV is accusing the Secretary of State of being too focused on placating the Irish government when it comes to the Trouble's legacy issues. Yesterday, Hilary Benn said the UK and Ireland are close to a fresh agreement on dealing with the past. Earlier this year, the government here signed a memorandum of understanding over the Omagh bombing inquiry. A man's pled not guilty to 31 offences relating to a crash at Liverpool's Premier League victory parade in May. 53-year-old Paul Doyle's denied every charge he's facing, including causing grievous bodily harm against 29 people injured when a car hit crowds towards the city centre. He shook his head at times in court. And finally, people living close to one of Europe's largest illegal dumps located in Derry have been sharing their concerns over the site. It's estimated to contain about 1.6 million tonnes of waste, and Stormont's agricultural ministers admitted that there will be no quick fix. The first of two events have been held to gather the public's views on plans to clear the site. That's all for now from the newsroom. Back with more at 12 noon.
Question: how can you save big time on back-to-school breakfast items? Answer: simple. Just pop into Aldi. There's a whole range of delicious and filling breakfast items to choose from. Like original Irish porridge oats for $1.19 and pure squeezy honey for just $1.69. Plus, our Gronias pancakes are just $1.19. Full marks, Aldi. Good food, good mood. From Aldi, while stocks last.
This is the 9 till noon show on Highland Radio, into the third hour of the programme already. A little bit later, we will be going back to Aranmore Island. It's day 5 of the Donegal Camino. Greg Hughes is walking the 16-kilometre stretch on Aranmore along with Noel and Daniel and Charles Ward and all the other people who are doing that Camino walks. We'll be going over there to touch in with Greg very shortly. But we're going to now go back to our conversation with James Devaney from the CDP in Letterkenny. We were speaking to James with regards to an event that's taking place in the Courtyard Shopping Centre in Letterkenny on Wednesday of next week in conjunction with World Suicide Prevention Day. James, welcome back to the programme. Tell us about the way this event, changing the narrative about suicide, is going to work.
It's going to work starting at 1 p.m. in the main offices of Letterkenny CDP in the Courtyard. At 1 p.m. we will have the opening address, but then the first thing we'll be doing is we have a panel discussion with 3 people with lived experience of a suicide bereavement, focusing mainly on the recovery element of it, the recovery element of how we've come from, how people have gone through the grieving process, what help they used, what supports they've used locally, but also what also they would have liked to have had in place during their journey as well. There are 3 people that have been through their own individual bereavement journey. We're not saying they've come out the other end, but they have certainly moved along and used the help and are in a much better place today, and would like to pass that message of hope on to other families and people in the community that yes, you can recover. The second part then is we were having a memorial service for people lost to suicide as well, where family members, professionals, people can meet, and we have a ceremony there where we can remember those people as well, where we can put names onto a tree of hope, what we call, and people can, that they're still with us, they're still in our mind, they're still in our memory, but it's also building towards hope. And the third part then, we have another panel discussion where we have people working in local services, people that have a lot of experience in the field. And the theme of that discussion will be changing the narrative around suicide. We have a representative from Pieta House, we have somebody from Psychiatric Services in Letterkenny, we have somebody from Donegal Youth Services. We're trying to capture as many voices within the community that have a vested interest in their own community and offering help and what can be changed, but also what we have on offer to local people in the community.
This is all taking place, James, from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. in the CDP office there on the top floor of the Courtyard. Go in from the main street, just walk straight in, and it starts on the right. But as I was saying to you off air, every time you go in there, it just seems the CDP office is just getting a little bit bigger. You're taking over more and more units.
It's growing all right. Donal in there is growing all right in there, and there will be tea and refreshments there after the event as well. There will be people, we will have an information stand there with information on local services that's there, and we will have people there. If somebody is finding it difficult on the day, there will be people there too that they can have a word with on the day as well.
And it's something that it may well be challenging for some of the people that do arrive there, but as you say, support's going to be there, help's going to be there, and hopefully people will get some solace from it, perhaps some more information from it, and maybe what people will also get from it is the realisation and the confirmation that they're not alone.
They're not alone, and they're also that there is hope there that yes, in their darkest hour, that there is a journey of recovery afterwards. I know when I was going through it and very early in my own grief recovery journey, I thought this was never going to end. If one more person had have come and said to me, you know, time's a great healer, James. And I thought, if one more person says that to me, you won't have any time left. You know, but I know now today from using the help and time, and if we can offer hope to one family member and one person within the community, our day will be a success.
James, it's a really important event. It's really going to be a really important day. And it's, as we say, it's in the Courtyard. It's upstairs in the Courtyard. On the 10th of September, that's Wednesday of next week, from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. There's more details obviously online. We'll put the details up on our own web pages and site as well. But for the moment, James Devaney, we wish you all the best with it, and we hope all goes well, and that people do get something, and that you do succeed in that quest to, as you said, change the narrative. James, thank you.
Lovely, Donal. Thank you.
The county's #1 talk show, The 9 till Noon Show on Highland Radio.
Hello, John Breslin here to let you know that this Friday the 5th, Around the Northwest will be live from McCabe's Pharmacy in Letterkenny, where I'll be talking about the W word. Well, 2 W words actually. Winter wellness. As McCabe's Pharmacy help families get prepped and prepared for the season ahead. There'll also be some giveaways on the day, so listen in or maybe pop in from 12 this Friday for Around the Northwest, live from McCabe's Pharmacy on Pierce Road, Letterkenny.
Weanling prices rocket. In this week's Irish Farmers Journal, farmer buyers drive on weanling prices in March. Find out what beef finishers need to make a profit this winter. Concern as Mercosur deal moves a step closer. Hill farm emissions could be overstated. Legal pitfalls to avoid when transferring the farm. Top tips on how to reduce your tax bill. Plus, get a free pair of wellies with a home delivery subscription. Only inside this week's Irish Farmers Journal, on sale now.
Granny, did you hear what I said?
If you've been saying, "What was that?" a bit more lately, it might be time to have your hearing checked. At Connect Hearing, we don't just fit hearing aids, we help you hear life again. From tiny in-the-ear styles to Bluetooth connected devices, we fit the best solution for you. Call 074 911 3296. Connect Hearing, connecting you to life.
Tour de Vor Nord a Viclain is féidir le Shervishi bus nascáúil TFI atá fáil fud na tíre tú a cheangal le réimse lehan choláistí ó cheann na bliana. Sa bháiltar sús le 50 géad hálaí agad nuair a bhaineann tú leas as do Harta Leap TFI désa óga nó a Viclain. Tuair cuairt transportforireland.ie is sinna Transport for Ireland is muid umpar dit.
Save on home essentials with Homeland September mega deals. There's Lions tea bag 600 pack now only $19.99. Save 15% on Royal Canin mini, medium or maxi dog food bags. And there's 25 litre double chamber ash vacuum now $49.99. Save €15. All this and more until September 21st. In store and online at homeland.ie.
Transform your living room with a luxurious, bespoke feature wall from Sprat Fireplaces, Newmills, Letterkenny. Our complete installations include built-in storage, electric fires, floating shelves, and stunning finishes in stone, porcelain, or marble. Each feature wall is designed and built in-house by our expert carpentry and stone masonry teams. No fuss, just flawless feature walls. Call 074 91 24144 or visit spratfireplaces.ie. Sprat Fireplaces, experts in heating, design, and detail.
Highland Radio Time Checks brought to you by EirGrid, the operator and developer of Ireland's electricity grid. EirGrid, powering up communities, powering up Ireland. The time is
12 minutes past 11. Just looking at the screen on our Zoom feed from Aranmore. Lads, not only is it not raining, Greg has got the shades on. Greg, you're looking good, you're looking cool.
I have indeed, yeah. We've got the shades on, the weather has held out, and, you know, you might be forgiven for thinking Aranmore is flat if you didn't know the island, but I can tell you it's not. We're about a quarter of the way through, I would say. This is day 5 of the Donegal Camino. Let's not forget last year, in total, 280,000 effectively has been raised for Cancer Care West Support Centre Letterkenny over the course of the last number of years. And all of this was the brainchild of a very special lady, and Peggy joins me now. Peggy, did you ever think it would come to this, that it would become a staple of the calendar, that it would get the recognition of a specific day by Donegal County Council, that it would create such sort of happiness around an issue that can create so much sadness as well?
Absolutely not. I started the Donegal Camino in the middle of COVID. We got 2 weeks where we got out of Dublin, and I used to go on the Camino abroad, and I thought, well, if I can't go abroad, I'm going up to Donegal and I'll just start my own Camino. I started with 5 people, and today we have 149 people walking today, and in total for this week we have over 700 people walking, and that's 700 people who are affected by some cancer journey. You know, there's nobody on this Camino that hasn't either either survived cancer, is on a cancer journey, or walking it for somebody. And that's why out there we want everybody to put their hand in their pocket and donate to our cancer care fund. Just go into I Donate and please help us. Every penny counts. You don't have to be putting in large amounts. Everybody just put their hand in their pocket, get into I Donate, and please help us to fundraise for the Cancer Care Centre, which is does enormous work for the people in Donegal who are affected by cancer and on that cancer journey.
Yeah, and the Camino too is interesting, and just marking the cards for people next year. You don't have to do all of the days. There's lots of people dip in and dip out. There's others that do all the days. There's people travel here and sort of pick the couple of days that they want to do. It's incredibly inclusive. There's people here from all different walks of life, all different backgrounds. So I would encourage anyone, though it does sell out very quickly, if you can, to get involved next year.
Absolutely, and we will be opening the registration, I'd say, in late March, early April, and I do suggest that you get in there quickly, and because this year the days we can only take roughly 100 people every day, and it's the first 100 in, and it's not everybody, as you say, is walking 7 days. People might just pick one day. They might have something special to celebrate on that day, or an anniversary or something, or they can walk 7 days, and it starts up in the lovely Inishowen, and it ends down in Slieve League. So pick 1 day, 2 days, 5 days, whatever suits your stage of life and whatever you're able to walk for.
Brilliant stuff, Peggy. Sharon is with us. Peggy, sorry. Sharon's with us as well. Sharon, you are a third-time participant.
That's right, yes. This is my third year now in a row. For 2 years I've done 2 days each week, and this year now this is my third day. I'm doing the Donegal Camino fund. All funds are in the aid of Cancer Care West, Letterkenny, and it's a charity very close to my heart. I myself was diagnosed with breast cancer in September 2022. I had a lumpectomy in November 2022, just 1 week before my 50th birthday. I am doing really well. When I had my biopsy, my sample was sent to America, where they do an oncotype test which determines whether you will need chemotherapy or not. But I got a good score, and I did not need any chemotherapy, and all I needed was 2 weeks radium and alpha-galvin. I am so well, and I have been really lucky because thanks to my breast surgeon for finding my lump, because I had a mammogram. What happened, I had pain in my right breast, and went to my GP, but it was 6 months later before I got my appointment in Letterkenny. But it didn't think anything, was wrong. But then when I went over, they discovered a new Dr. Vargalas who done the mammogram. Mammogram didn't show anything, but my surgeon, Dr. Vargalas, discovered my lump, and it was very early stages. But I have to say, he probably saved my life. Also, my journey with cancer, as a family, have been very unfortunate. I've lost 4 of my siblings to cancer. My youngest brother when he was 13 in 1990, my sister Fanula in 2008, my brother Brendan in 2013. Then my dad and my brother Ronan died 1 day apart, January the 2nd, 2021 and January the 3rd, 2021, both with cancer, both having palliative care around, although one living in Donegal town, one living in Killybegs.
That's so difficult, and I'm so sorry that you've had to go through that.
Yeah.
But I would imagine what it did too, and this is where it's sort of like the likes of the counselling services, the talking services at Cancer Care West Donegal would have helped, because you must have went through a period of time when you thought, and I don't mean this insensitive, but were the writings on the wall, or it must have been particularly difficult for you to process given your family history. And I'm delighted to say you look fantastic and you're healthy as a trout, right? But just dealing with it and not knowing that, we know it now, but you wouldn't have known that then at that time.
Yes. Well, firstly, just I want to say I'm not forgetting my brother Ronan, who died in 2021, the day before Daddy. His son Darren, my nephew, died in February 2006, age 7. So I'm definitely not forgetting 6 family members. But what you're saying, yes, The Cancer Care West services, I just don't know what I could have done without them. I started going straight after my radium treatment, and first of all, John Donahue, counsellor, I done some sessions with John which were so beneficial. I go over on a monthly basis from September to June each year since, and I have made the most amazing friends. Big shout out today to Myra and Kathy, who are doing the walk along with me today again.
Well, they've left us, if the truth be told.
They've left us, yes. But I use the Philip Tai Chi services, and Elaine, the lymphatic drainage. I hope I'm not forgetting Patricia, who is always there to answer all the clerical kind of making appointments. And
so it's fair to say then that this service in Letterkenny is part of your life now, really, isn't it? I mean, obviously you owe a lot, but in terms of ongoing, you're processing everything and your future, it's intertwined with you.
Exactly. I have no intentions of stopping going there anytime soon. Yeah. I asked John one day how long am I able to go there for, but he didn't give me an answer yet.
I don't think he's going to chuck you out.
Yeah.
Listen,
very,
Sharon.
Very, very positive. I just wish more people, I know several people who have been through cancer, and I'd be thinking to myself, they don't know what they're missing by not coming over and knocking on that door. It might be very hard in the beginning, but not knocking on that door, the welcome you get from day one, it's just unbelievable. And I'm so thankful to everybody.
Listen, Peggy, you have it down to a T in terms of raising money, and people are really, really generous. But part of what we're doing here is actually to try and increase awareness of the actual facility being there, and the word is getting out, it's busy and what have you, but you don't need to suffer on your own or in silence, and that's what today's all about. It's about raising money so that it can be there, but it's about raising awareness so people know it's there.
Yes, today, for this week already, we've hit the 100,000. Wow. Our target is 150. I'm very confident that we will meet that with your help out there. I'm confident that we will get to 150,000 on this and rising.
Okay, brilliant stuff, Peggy. Come on, let's go. Right, we're going to head back on. Do you want to lift in the car? Is that not cheating? No. We're being offered a lift, but only to catch up.
Only to catch up.
Right, okay. It's not cheating. All right, then. I'll join you in a second. Okay, just to remind you, please, if you can, donate. You can donate through the 9 till noon show, Highland Radio, idonate.ie/fundraiser/Greg Hughes 1. Give us a call at the radio station 07491 25,000. We can process a donation there, or drop money in. And, the wonderful people of Aranmore, they've been so welcoming to us. And I don't know how many, we've got a couple of £100 just handed to us in notes and envelopes as well. Kathleen, who I'm sure is listening, hope she very generously give us an envelope. I haven't opened it yet, but I'm sure it is going to be really, really generous. So please, if you can, help us donate. But particularly, we were listening to the earlier conversation about how we talk about and how we discuss and process suicide. We have got really better at talking about cancer and dealing with it, and hopefully we crack that nut with mental illness as well. But anyway, we're in a position where we can have a positive conversation about something that affects us all, and in many cases, negatively. But that's where we need to go. All right, idonate.ie/fundraiser/Greg Hughes 1. Give us a call, 07491 25,000. I'm about to get into a car. It ain't cheating, but it is a hill, so I'm going to take that. Right, Donal, thanks very much. I don't know if we're going to check in a little later on, but anyway, for now, keep an eye on our social medias. We'll do some videos on the social medias at some point anyway. But for now, Donal, thanks.
Greg, thank you very much indeed. And if you heard the testimony there from Sharon, I mean, that is exactly the reason why this is an absolutely vital conversation. It's a vital service that Cancer Care West provides, and it absolutely is deserving of respect. Before we go for a break, I want to just take some of your comments. Caller says there was a great turnout at last night's meeting in Old Town in Letterkenny, with contributions from Mary T. Sweeney and other community activists on Letterkenny's traffic issues. Sadly, there was no show from cycle path obsessed councillors and officials. Yet another slap in the face for Letterkenny residents. We spoke earlier to Anthony about the cancellation of his carer's allowance. Caller says, I've been a carer now for almost 14 years. Our son is now at secondary school. He leaves the house just after 8, is back at 4. Now I have time to do things, but I find myself not qualified to do anything. As a carer, I can work 18 and a half hours, but there are no opportunities. Is there anything out there for me? And if anyone has any suggestions to help that particular caller, we'd love to hear from you. What about vitamin D as a barrier to colds and flus? It was recommended last year by the health authorities that we should be taking it from October to April due to a lack of sunshine and being outdoors. That goes back to the conversation we had about the clean air in schools and the fear that high levels of absenteeism in schools due to illness is being to a certain extent contributed to by bad ventilation and the impact that is having on our pupils. A lot of response still to the cutting down of the tree in Letterkenny, and some little pushback from some people. The people have little enough to bother about when they're talking about cutting down an old tree, says one caller. I can't believe all this drama over a stupid tree. If I had my way, I wouldn't have any trees in sight. They get out of control. I say keep chopping. And that's from a caller in the west of the county. I am not sure that if we keep chopping trees, it will be doing anything to help the environment, and certainly will be doing nothing to help us as a society. Of that, I'm fairly sure. Caller says 6 to 9 million euro being spent on greenways and cycleways between Castlefin and Lifford, hardly ever used. Meanwhile, grass is not being cut on the Lifford Road, so the verge is a metre high. So is the priority for wildflowers and long grass rather than tidy lawns and safety? Now, I know there are some areas where council is deliberately not cutting grass to create biodiversity areas and give bees and pollination and so on a chance as well. So that could be an issue in at least part of what you're talking about there, caller. Again, with regards to the tree, caller says the council officials are a law unto themselves and treat the public with contempt over and over again. I want to go to line 1. You'll have heard on the news that iCare in Inishowen is to receive an additional €200,000 per year from the HSE and the Department of Children, Disability and Equality. Joined on the line by Doreen Friel, who's the chairperson of iCare and no stranger to this programme. Doreen, good morning.
Good morning, Donal. How are you?
Very well indeed, thank you. And I'm sure you're very well this morning, given that you've had this news, because iCare is always on the lookout, obviously, for extra cash to fund the wonderful service you're providing. This €200,000 additional per year that's been announced today, how far is that going to go?
Oh my God, Donal, if you could see the smile on my face and the faces of everybody in iCare. This is just incredible news for us. It's a game changer, no doubt about it, for iCare. Donal, it gives us stability to go forward. We are indebted to our community. You know yourself, the community has sustained us for 25 years. And without our community, we would not be here still providing the service that we do provide. We do provide an essential service for many, many families. Like, it's a lifeline to many. And relying on the community to the extent that we did they're fantastic. But we employ over 20 people now, and we just really needed this increased funding to give us stability, to retain our excellent staff for everybody. Our children rely on the staff so much, and to recruit new staff because our service is growing. You know yourself the increase in numbers in terms of autism diagnoses, and there's a demand on our service, and we need to increase our workforce. Saying that, Donal, we'll be looking for key positions, so I would ask everybody to keep their eyes peeled in the near future for key positions in iCare. So this will make a huge difference to us as an organisation. It will allow us to reach out to even more families across the entire peninsula. We hope now that we can reach into corners of Inishowen where it may have been more difficult before for people to use our service. It allows us to have better transport resources. It's just a game changer for us. This is a huge year for iCare. You know yourself, Donal, we're 25 years old this year. It's amazing. I'd like to take this opportunity also to pay tribute to the many boards of management, boards of directors, staff, managers, parents, families down the line. I mean, we didn't get to yesterday's announcement without a lot of effort and a lot of hard work on everybody's part. So it's a fantastic announcement for us, Donal. We're just over the moon.
And the key here, Doreen, is this is annual. This is an additional 200,000 euro every year, because part of the problem now is you've literally been living from grant to grant, from allocation to allocation, from donation to donation. And when you don't have that long-term guarantee of income, you can't really do what you want to do in terms of bringing in new staff, in terms of expanding the service. This now tells you you're not only getting this money in 25, you're getting it in 26, you're getting it in 27, you're getting it in 28, and you can plan accordingly.
Absolutely, and that's why it gives us huge stability, Donal. You know, we can plan ahead now with our vision for eye care. It's like a new dawn for us, really and truly. I would love to pay tribute to Edel Quinn, Head of Disability Services, and her team. They have worked so hard with us. This has been a joint effort between them, the HSE and ourselves. We all want the same for our autistic community. We want the very best opportunities. We want to be able to develop our service even further. This is just huge for us, Donal. And as you say, the fact that it's annual, it just gives us such renewed energy in eye care to be able to develop and to be able to be strategic going forward. It's just absolutely fantastic. We wouldn't have got it over the line without the help of Charlie McConlogue, and I want to thank him for that, and Fionn Bradley, Pádraig McLaughlin, Jack Murray, our local elected representatives, you know, always have all supported eye care. And I think yesterday is just the result and the culmination of a lot of hard work and advocacy on everybody's part. So it's a great day for eye care. We have a children's service, we have our Sonus youth group, we have our adult service. This year we have a newly established Parents Association. I want to pay tribute to them. They are doing great work, and there's great communication now between the parents and the board. We have reinvigorated our board. We have new members on it. We're just delighted. This annual additional funding now, Donal, is a huge endorsement for us from the HSE and huge recognition of the work that we do in eye care. It's so welcome, and we will make very good use of this money, as we always have done. I can't thank everybody enough, and really and truly, yourselves included, Highland has always been so supportive of eye care and other media organisations as well. I think we move forward now, you know, with partnership and collaboration between all the key stakeholders for the benefit of all of our families and all of our members and our excellent staff. They now have stability. You know, they're not worrying about whether we have enough money to pay the next wages. So it's a fantastic day, Donal.
You mentioned Councillor Fionn Bradley there. Fionn joins us on the line. Fionn, good morning. And eye care, Fionn, is something that you're very, very familiar with indeed.
Oh, indeed, Donal, and good morning to yourself and to Doreen and to all the listeners. I want to take this opportunity to congratulate Doreen and to congratulate the board, the staff, the volunteers, the parents, families, and all of the children who use eye care and who have used it over the last 25 years. In my professional life, I would be a teacher of children with special and additional needs, and I really do know firsthand the difference that eye care makes to a lot of those children and to their families. They're a lifeline. They really are a lifeline as a service here in Inishowen. And the HSE would get a hard time quite often for decisions they make and for money that's spent, or people might feel misspent. But I can genuinely say that every last penny of this €200,000 is money very well spent. And it will make such a difference to those children and their families.
And you have worked yourself directly with eye care in the past, Fionn?
Not worked on eye care, but I've taught children.
Oh, the children you have taught are also children that use the eye care service.
That's exactly it. And Doreen, and indeed the board may not know this, but the very first meeting that I attended as a councillor with a committee or a board or a group was the meeting I attended early last July with the eye care board and with Minister McConlogue. And, I left that meeting that day thinking, well, this is a very easy task. And when we then went to the HSE, it was a very easy task because Doreen and her colleagues on the board had put the case across so well that day that it was just a no-brainer. That there was just absolutely no way that the HSE could continue to not fund eye care going forward. So it really made our job as public representatives very, very easy after that. And I'm just absolutely delighted to have got to today. It's been a long time coming, and it really is very well deserved.
Councillor Fionn Bradley and Doreen Friel, chairperson of iCare, thank you both very much indeed.
Just before we go, can I mention a couple of things that really I want to take an opportunity?
Yep, please.
Hopefully I've thanked everybody. I just want to mention this is our 25th year, and we have a celebration on Saturday the 27th of September. It's called Eye Cabaret in the Inishowen Gateway Hotel. We would love to see everybody there. We launched in 2000 with a concert by Alton in the Gateway, and now we're going back to the Gateway for our 25th celebration. Also, we've had the nationwide cameras down over the summer, and so I would love people would look out for our piece on Nationwide, which hopefully will air end of this month, early October, we're not sure yet. And thanks again, Donal. It's a fantastic new era for eye care with this recurring funding, and just we're absolutely over the moon. So thank you to everybody.
Doreen, thank you very much indeed. Doreen Friel there, chairperson of iCare, and also Councillor Fionn Bradley there, Lasca Hirlock of Inishowen MD, and a teacher of special needs as well. We're going to take a short break in a moment. We're going to be speaking to someone who starred in two of my all-time favourite films and is also a music legend in this particular region. That's coming up after these.
Watch the show live now on YouTube, Facebook and at highlandradio.com.
Má tá tú idir chuig ní agus 7 bliain díos, joid tú cuireadh scág hostal potoige báilian HSE siar an aisce íalna. Cabhraíonn an scág hostal le cóirí luadál se potoige aimsiú, solamíonn ein symptom le feiceáil agus bíonn sin níos fosa í a chóireáil chomhar.
Do you sometimes struggle to hear? It could just be earwax and it's easily treated. Hidden Hearing right now are offering free earwax removal for everyone over 60, carried out by our qualified earwax technicians. Call 1-800-370-000 or go to hiddenhearing.ie. Hidden Hearing, your hearing is our expertise. T's and C's apply.
Thinking of changing your floors? Why not see what Florid Letterkenny has to offer? Florid have a large selection of solid, semi-solid and laminate click vinyl wood flooring, together with a fantastic choice of parquet, herringbone flooring, all at incredible value. Don't delay. Call Florid today on 087 161 7008.
With TUI, there's more choice than you think. Beach days or a city break. Weekend in Rome? Booked. Fly from your local airport? Of course. Just a hotel? Got them too. Number of nights? Take your pick. Tailor your trip with more options and more choice. TUI. Live happy.
Get the job done with the right equipment delivered direct from Watson Hire in Letterkenny. Free delivery on all equipment has been extended to the Finn Valley area, including Ballybuffet, Stranorlar, Castlefin and Killygordon. With great daily and weekend deals available, call Watson Hire, Lisnen in Letterkenny on 9167777. See Facebook or visit watsonhire.ie.
New this week in Home Store and More. All bar stools are all half price. But better hurry, because when all our half-price bar stools are gone, they're gone. Also, all mattress toppers are still all 33% off. And all painting and DIY accessories are still all half-price. But when all the 33% off mattress toppers and all the half-price painting and DIY accessories are gone, they're definitely gone. Drop by your local Home Store and More. Visit us online at homestoreandmore.ie. Home Store and More. A happy home.
Náidé mail nuair a oinn tú de chuireadh an scág hostal potoige íana. Glíorín a 8 a náid a 45 a 45 a 55. nó túr cuairt bowlscreen.ie. Own HSE.
It's the 9 till noon show on Highland Radio. Just before the break, we were speaking about iCare in Buncrana and the wonderful service they provide. And something really interesting and exciting happening in Buncrana on this coming Saturday night, because MRK Live present in the Buncrana Cinema live Brona Gallagher along with some special guests, and I'm delighted to say that Brona joins us this morning on Zoom. Brona, good morning.
Good morning, Greg. How are you?
I'm very well indeed. Now, Greg's actually taking a stroll along Aranmore Island at the moment, so this is this is Donal. Yeah, this is actually Donal.
Donal, I beg your pardon.
You're grand, Brona. Don't be worrying about it at all.
Lovely to meet you. How are you, darling?
Do you know what? I am now speaking to someone, and as I said before the break, who starred in two of my favourite films. You call me what you like, Brona. Just to speak to you is an honour, I must say. I mean, Pulp Fiction and The Commitments. You know, well, what more does one need to say? You're a legend.
Oh, listen, do you know what? I've just been in certain rooms at the right time and was just very lucky, along the way and met the right people. And I'm as shocked as anybody that I'm in Star Wars and Pulp Fiction. Believe you me, I don't think I'll ever get used to it, but just very lovely people at the time. And I mean, the Star Wars thing was one of those, we all heard it was being made, obviously, when they were come back in with the Phantom Menace and in London. And I remember saying to me lovely agent at the time, Penny, they're making Star Wars, Imagine being like an Ewok or a Stormtrooper or something. And that's literally the conversation we had. And the next thing I knew, Robin Gurland, who'd cast it, had been to see a show I had done in the National in London that week. And she brought me in and we did a lovely chat. And then I got a wee part. And, that was that kind of one of those just funny wee moments. And the Pulp Fiction thing was, I was in LA at the time they were casting it. And a lovely agent we were with put us forward for it. There's a few of us there hanging out in LA that summer. And the next thing I knew, I was in New York meeting Quentin. So, it was one of those just crazy things. And nobody, I think, could have really predicted the success of Pulp Fiction. But obviously a very, very talented man. So no doubt, really.
It is one of those films that, I mean, at the time it was being made, probably people thought, it could go somewhere. I always loved listening to and reading interviews with Carrie Fisher about the first Star Wars. When she talks about even before the premiere, they're walking around the car park going, they're going to hate it. They're going to hate it. They're going to hate it. I mean, this is going to be so embarrassing. And it was anything but. I mean, Pulp Fiction, I mean, what an amazing film. But The Commitments as well. And I think sometimes you don't get enough credit for your role in The Commitments because, I mean, I think, so much attention gets placed on Andrew Strong and the men in the group. But I think the three girls were the linchpin. They were the backbone.
The girls were great. I mean, all the characters were amazing. I think, the wonderful magic of the Commitments was Roddy Doyle's writing, which is always just so funny, but there's so much heart in all his work. And so, the story of any struggle in class, trying to be recognized for what they are. And then just the master of Alan Parker's movies.
Yeah.
And the combining of the two, that real magical moment in Irish cinema that reinstigated basically the Producers Guild of Ireland, that opened the floodgates, for film at that time. It was a very rare thing that was made. We had the My Left Foot, The Field. They were all in that time great, filmmakers coming in to make work. And that movie was so, so special. And the women's roles, obviously, and it's lovely that you've said that. You're actually the first person that has ever really said that. But I think, any women's stories in it, and especially women in rock and roll, which is, an even more, elaborate subject we can go into. But I just think, both Maria and Angeline are just such wonderful, actresses. And the stories that we got to tell were very, very special. And we worked so well as a unit, the three of us, we're still friends. And I love them both so much. And, you just have to be, always that, that lucky break that we all got, how grateful we all are still to have had. We as kids, really, we kind of won the lotto, really, artistically,
You portrayed that inner city Dublin sass perfectly. How much of that was Derry City sass in a different accent?
Well, I mean, it's working class sass, isn't it? It's working class. I'm as good as anybody to be a part of this community and to be involved. And I knew that very well, as we all did growing up in Northern Ireland. But there was a very severe class issues. So, I think it's the thread that you can bring through any community. I often think about, why I'm so in love with soul and gospel music. But it's the sound that comes out of people in pain. It's the sound that comes out of people in struggle. And that's why it's a universal connection, no matter what language people are speaking. So it was only an accent to me was the issue. Because when I read the book, I thought, okay, I'm in The Commitments. I mean, I had no doubt. I wish I had that confidence still as I've got older. I just felt an immediate connection, an utter just sort of chemical connection to it. I thought this is something that I just need to be seen for and get into. So it's as Roddy so brilliantly writes in the script. you are the blacks of Europe, as in the Derry, or the Dublin people at the time. And, very, very funny lines, never obviously ever meant to be offensive in any way, but, the parallel and his understanding of the similarity of those two communities, it's almost been written out of history, but it's very, very true, what would happen. So I had no problem. I felt that connection as an Irish person to those people, and the fact that soul music was our music, and soul music in Derry, obviously in Donegal, we had that huge, love of the show bands at the time, and a lot of the musicians that we would play with here in Dublin, their parents were part of the show band community in Derry in the 60s, and Donegal, Ireland in the 60s and 70s. And, you just felt an affiliation with that music.
And you could have taken, whereas a lot of people will say the Commitments is such a uniquely Dublin story, I think there's a large reality that says you could have taken the Commitments out of inner city Dublin, you could have based it in the Bogside or the Craig, and it would be pretty much exactly the same story.
Any story, 100%. It's a working class story. It's a story of the underprivileged. And that's, you often wonder why James Brown was the genius that he was. You often wonder the dancing, you look at soul artists and you look at the most incredible blues artists throughout the history of music. You had to be that good to be heard, because obviously the struggle was real and it was so horrific what was happening in African America. And, those artists that inspired the musicians here, like Van Morrison, will always, just nod his hat to the great blues artists that inspired him, and the jazz artists, because those people, the suffering was so horrific that the music that they made was representative of how they were feeling, but you had to be at the top of your game to survive. And that's when you got that showmanship. That's when you got that skill in that class. So you can take it anywhere, in any community, in any, any language, color, doesn't matter. That's the problem, that it doesn't matter. But people connected, because what it is, it's soul. It's people's souls connecting on any language. Language is never a barrier. That's why music is the great unifier, and sport,
A good friend of mine, Owen Callahan, and I had a conversation about you recently, because he was involved in a bump along the way, and he said you were an absolute dream. Yeah. You were a dream to work with, he told me.
Oh, sure, Owen's one of the gang. He's one of the Derry Massive. He's a darling, and working very much as a wonderful now composer with my sister Louise Gallagher, who makes Blue Lights. That's their show. But I'm mad about Owen and Kitty. They're great.
Talk to me about what's happening in Buncrana on Saturday, because, it's the chance to see Bronagh Gallagher live is not one that comes across very often, and it's one we'd be advising people to jump on right now.
Thank you so much. Well, we're making a new record, but there's always that great passion to play music, and we got the opportunity. We were invited up to play the Harvest Blues Festival in Monaghan tomorrow night, and then I just thought, people keep telling me about this beautiful new venue. Well, obviously it's been there a long time, the Buncrana Cinema, and I had spoken to Rory before, the promoters, and I just thought, you know what, maybe they could just swish us on there on the Saturday night, and the gig was free, so we planned it earlier this year. So obviously we are delighted. We're going to come back up the road, and we've got a lot of new material that we're working on, and we just want to play more live gigs. So we're going to play Buncrana with our new stuff, and we have a new record coming out now at the end of October, and we just want to get up there and reconnect with the people. And we do love playing live shows, and it is a great fun night out, and the band are fantastic. So we just want to gather people. If you need about a soul on a Saturday night, no better place to come than the Buncrana Cinema. And we want to support the young promoters as well that are really trying to just get live music venues, sustaining them and keeping them going, and doing something different, and supporting, independent artists like myself.
This is probably a very, very unfair question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Are you a singer who acts or an actor who sings?
I'm just an artist that loves showing off, and I'm just somebody that I love both. I obviously make films and TV, but they're other people's productions, and that's a great honor to do that. But I'm a songwriter, I'm a singer, and that's a huge part of me as anything. And sometimes the business can be very, very difficult to surf the music industry and stuff like that. So it's just me and my motley crew, my band, and but I am a songwriter, and I am a singer, and that's my great, great passion. So yeah.
And the people you've worked with include Brian Eno, Maria McKee, Gary Lightbody. No mean face of the music business. You have worked with some of the best.
Yes. I mean, they're all friends and people that I love, but you know, we've all made records together. And then when it came to sort of me doing my own stuff, they were all hugely supportive. And Brian is a great, great friend, great supporter, and is a, you know, huge lover of the human voice, obviously. So, you know, yeah, we'll do other stuff together too. And yeah, Gary's fantastic, and Marie McKee, and did a beautiful bit of work with Dave Stewart a few years ago as well, and Noel Hogan, lovely Noel from the Cranberries. No, it's great, you know. But I mean, I think what the audiences see are the last, you know, the last product is the song or the video itself, but it's all the work that goes behind that, scheduling everything, coming up with the ideas, feeling creative, feeling that you've got something to say. You know, what I always try and do is make the work, you know, more and more, you know, quicker, get it off the page quicker. But you know, you need the life experiences to write about things, and any songwriter or any artist of any stature or whatever medium you're in, you know, you need the experiences to write about things. Some people just go to a room and write, you know, 24/7, but I'm not that kind of writer. I'm trying to be more like that, and definitely the projects we know, and Brian can sometimes be that. But basically, it's about, you go away, you know, the fruit falls off the trees, the winter comes, you let the spring come, and then the creativity starts again. So that's where we're at now, you know.
Bronagh, really looking forward to the gig in Buncrana on Saturday night in the Buncrana Cinema, which is on the way to establishing itself as a really important live venue in the Northwest, and great to see it. Great to see live music anywhere. Doors at 7:30. You and your special guests gig, I presume,
Josie
starts
Doherty,
8
my
shortly
childhood
afterwards.
friend, Josie Doherty and Joe are going to play a lovely set to open the show. So, but all local singers, amazing talent that, you know, that just really need support. And the more people support these venues and what these wonderful young promoters are trying to do, the more these venues have a chance of getting proper funding and staying open, you know, so support the independence.
Bronagh, pleasure speaking to you. All the best with
Thank
the
you
album when it
so
comes out later
much.
this year. It's been an absolute privilege. Thank you, and have a great day, and have a great weekend.
Thank you. Hopefully see you at the gig. Thank you so
Okey-dokey.
much.
Right, take care.
God bless.
The Highland Radio Customer Service Awards with Michael Henny's Department Store are back. We're honouring the businesses that put customers first, and we want to hear from you. Whether it's your favourite shop, restaurant or service provider, now's the time to give them the recognition they deserve. But hurry, nominations close Monday 8th of September. Don't miss out. The award night takes place on Sunday 5th of October. Nominate now at highlandradio.com.
Want to refresh your style without breaking the bank or the planet? Shopping Spree is back this Saturday, September 6th from 12 to 3 at the Garden Centre, Carndonagh. Expect reels of pre-loved fashion, swap opportunities, DIY repair and upcycling tips, plus live music and a good vibe. It's about fun, fashion and sustainability rolled into one. Don't miss Shopping Spree, where you can look good, feel good and do good.
Milford Tiles, Milford Retail Park. Tiles, bathware and wood flooring. The best quality and value in the Northwest. Fully stocked and ready to go. Fitters and delivery available. 10% off for Mica affected customers. Don't forget to ask about our 5-day bathroom fit out. Call Milford Tiles on 083 091 0707.
Change is the only constant in business. So whether you're starting or growing your business, our dedicated business teams will always be here to support you every step of the way. Because the best businesses never stop beginning. Search Bank of Ireland Business. Bank of Ireland. Begin. Bank of Ireland is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Your personal best. What does that really mean? Smashing records? Beating others? Not really. At VHI, we say it's more important to feel your personal best by looking after your mental health or catching up with friends. Parkrun with VHI is a fun, free way to feel your personal best every single week. Find out more at vhi.ie/running. VHI, because your health means everything.
By taking the bus, the train, walking or cycling whenever you can, you're playing a part in helping to reduce Ireland's transport emissions. To help you on your way, this year over €1.6 billion is being invested in public transport nationwide and over €1 million a day on our walking and cycling routes. This has helped more people than ever to access more sustainable transport, because wherever you're going, your journey counts. Visit gov.ie/your journey counts. Brought to you by the Government of Ireland.
Highland Radio weather updates brought to you by McElhenney's. With new season styles arriving daily, discover the latest fashion, footwear and accessories for autumn in store or shop online at mcelhenneys.com today.
The Met Éireann tell us to expect showers to spread further eastwards across the region during the day, with the odd heavy shower possible. Drier conditions following from the west by evening. Top temperatures today 15 to 17 degrees Celsius in light to moderate westerly winds. Just before we go to our final guest, just one or two things I want to share with you. Don't forget, it's the last chance to win in our mega summer draw. 2 chances to win big, 1 chance of winning €2,500 and the main prize of €10,000. This finishes tomorrow, so there'll be €2,500 given away by Lee on the Naughty Alarm Clock tomorrow morning. And on this programme, the 9 till noon show, tomorrow morning, Greg's back in the hot seat, and that major €10,000 cash prize will be given away. So your last chance, as we say, to get your tickets, go to highlandradio.com, all the details there. Now, I want to go to speak to James Sexton. He's the founder of End Discrimination in Inheritance Tax Discrimination for Childless Citizens. James, good morning.
Good morning, Donal. Hello, how are you?
Very well indeed, thank you. James, there is a difference in law between children who are the direct sons or daughters of a person who passes away and nieces and nephews. And if a niece or nephew inherits, it can be quite costly.
Yeah, I was on with Greg there some months ago and obviously explained all. I know our time is very limited, so just very, very quickly, just to explain, obviously parents can pass assets up to $400,000 to each of their children. Childless citizens can pass assets up to $40,000 to each of their loved ones, which obviously is 10 times less. Our campaign group, obviously, we've been canvassing and lobbying politicians because this is discriminatory and inequitable, and obviously the budget is very fast approaching, and our campaign group would appeal to all your childless listeners listening today. There are over 1 million childless listeners in this country, to make urgent contact with their local TDs. So we're talking Pierce Doherty, Pat the Cope Gallagher, Padraig McLaughlin, Charlie McConalogue and Charles Ward. Their loved ones will certainly thank them for making those calls. Since I spoke with Greg there the last time, I have been inundated with people phoning me, invariably childless people, citizens, invariably people in their 60s and 70s, a bit older than myself, and they're trying to put their financial affairs in order. And they're all so distraught regarding the financial consequences for their loved ones, that their homes will have to be sold by their nephews and nieces in order to pay the tax bills that will arise immediately after their passing within 12 months. Perhaps I can maybe just briefly remind your listeners of the inequality and discrimination that all childless citizens and their loved ones listening today will be faced. So just got 2 quick examples. How is it equitable and fair that a nephew or niece who inherits a €400,000 home from a childless relative will have a tax bill to pay of €118,800? The home will almost certainly have to be sold by the nephew or niece to pay the tax due. How that helps in any way to alleviate the very real housing crisis faced by younger people in their 20s and 30s clearly doesn't. And yet a child who inherits the same home from a parent will have a tax bill of $0 to pay. The child, thankfully, gets to retain the home. So we're not advocating for anything to be removed from parents and their children. We are advocating for equality and the removal of discrimination that impacts every single childless listener listening today.
Very quickly, James, if this isn't addressed in the forthcoming budget, what then?
Well, look, we're confident that it is going to be addressed. Now, obviously, what our concern is that the government is going to continue with the present policy of tweaking the thresholds. So they may increase the threshold A from 400,000, say, to 450,000, B from 40,000 to 50,000, and Group C from a mere 20,000 to, say, 30,000. You cannot remove a bit of discrimination. We live in a republic where all citizens in this country are equal, but we're not equal in terms of our inheritance tax laws. And as I say, it's so important that all our childless listeners today make contact with their local representatives. We are not the elected representatives. If the TDs that I've mentioned there earlier, if they think that system is fair and equitable, then they should be able to explain it to us. If they don't, then they should be on your show next week and explaining to all the childless listeners in Donegal what it is that they are going to do on behalf of all the childless citizens in this country.
James Sexton, thank you very much indeed. That's the end of the 9 till noon show for this morning. Thanks to all our contributors. Thanks to Caroline, who produced and took your calls here. Special thanks to Greg and the team on Aranmore Island, in particular Shannon, who looked after all the videoing and the Zoom calls and so on. And thanks to everybody involved there. To all our contributors, a very special thanks. And most of all, to the listeners, thank you. Greg's back in the hot seat tomorrow, but for myself, Donal Kavanagh, ahead of John Breslin around the Northwest after the news. But for now, have a very good day.
Is your couch older than your Spotify playlist? Is your dining table wobblier than your uncle at a wedding? If so, it's time for an upgrade at Grove Furnishings, Kiltoy Road, Letterkenny, the largest furniture store in the Northwest. From